Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Friday, June 20th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $, ORIONNWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Seattle Mariners versus the Chicago Cubs. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Friday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, the best catcher in baseball, leading the major leagues in homers, big dumper Cal Raleigh, and the up-and-coming superstar, must-see TV center fielder Pete Crow Armstrong. Can't wait to be able to see what Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, Seiya Suzuki got in store for the Seattle Mariners this morning. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting third, catching today for the Mariners, big dumper Cal Raleigh. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Batting fifth, DHing today, Mitch Garver. Batting sixth, playing first base, Donovan Solano. Batting seventh, playing right field, Dylan Moore. Batting eighth, playing third base, Ben Williamson. And batting ninth, playing second base, Cole Young. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 1-3 record and ERA of 5.96, he's starting to come into his very own, George Kirby. And now let's get into the starting lineups here for the home Chicago Cubs. Leading off for the Cubs in left field, Ian Happ. Batting second, right fielder, formerly of the Houston Astros, Kyle Tucker. Batting third, DHing today for Chicago, Seiya Suzuki. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, center fielder, Pete Crow Armstrong. Batting fifth, playing shortstop for the Cubs, Dansby Swanson. Batting sixth, playing first base, Michael Busch. Batting seventh, playing second base, Nico Werner. Batting eighth, playing third base, Matt Shaw. And batting ninth, catching today for Chicago, Reese McGuire. And on the mound for the Cubbies, 6-3 record, an ERA of 2.79, an absolute stud, Matthew Boyd. And then a little update for Mariner fans. Luke Raley is back and he's on the active roster, but that means that we have to send someone down. And unfortunately, that means Rowdy Tellez gets optioned to the Tacoma Rainiers. Will we see Rowdy later on back on the Mariners? I assume we will. Again, we have a lefty on the mound today. For anyone that's thinking, why not Donovan Solano or some of those other individuals on the roster? There's only so much space, so we'll see how it goes. You know, we did appreciate what Rowdy has done for us. You know, sometimes a little bit streaky, but again, Luke Raley back, and I would assume that we would see him pinch hit later in the game and possibly maybe even start in games 2 or 3. Cool kid in the building. What's good? And we're going to be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, 50 or more overall, and obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. And in this Chicago road trip, Unfortunately, every single game is going to be on at 11:20 Pacific time, which may be, 1:20 in certain parts of the Midwest, 2:20 in certain parts, and obviously in the East Coast, it's 2:20. I would have, hoped that we would have at least one game on in the evening, so that way more people could watch if they were at work or, had, church or whatever it may be. But again, on the West Coast, we get the earliest time. If you're in the Midwest and East Coast, it's not really too bad. It's early afternoon, but we'll see how it ends up all kind of playing out here today. And I can't wait to see what we got. And again, on the mound for the Cubbies, 6-3 record, ERA of 2.79. Matthew Boyd, and leading it off will be J.P. Crawford. Let's go, baby. First pitch, J.P., slow dribbler, and scooped up and grounded out, and that is one away. And we definitely need J.P. to be active early and often. Next up for the Mariners, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. First pitch to Julio, takes a strike looking inside by Boyd, 0-1 count. One pitch, high and away with a four-seam fastball by Boyd. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. Best MLB player. I'm not sure if you could really just say one. Obviously, there's been a lot of legends and GOATs, over the years. Obviously, most people, consider Babe Ruth one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. But by the time Shohei Ohtani's career is over, if he plays 15 or 20 years and keeps dominating pitching and hitting, we might be saying that Shohei Ohtani might be the best player, of all time, when it's all said and done. But it's a little too early to say that, but there's plenty of legends. It depends on, if you're a Mickey Mantle guy, a Hank Aaron guy, a Willie Mays guy, or someone, like enjoys pitching like Nolan Ryan, or Sandy Koufax. So I don't think you can really just say one, as Julio flies out to right on a 2-2 pitch, 2 away. But again, there's many that you could say, but based on so many positions, I'm not sure if you can really narrow it down just to one. Next up is big dumper catcher Cal Raleigh. But what I will tell you is right now, with guys like Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, holding it down for the homers. But also you got guys that are up and coming. My 3 favorite players that aren't on the Mariners right now are Pete Crow Armstrong, believe it or not, on the Cubs, Jacob Wilson on the Athletics, that should win Rookie of the Year, and James Wood on the Nationals. So sometimes you get these young and up-and-coming players that are starting to break out, and I can't wait to be able to see the development of those 3 moving forward. They should be future perennial all-stars year in and year out. First pitch to Cal. Back. See ya! Big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Homers again, 381 feet, baby. And that's exactly what we need if we want to have any chance against the Cubbies here today. Big dumper, 1-0 Mariners. Let's go. Let's go, baby. 11th home run at the first pitch at his at-bat. And Cal Raleigh, he will be the first to get to 30 home runs. Believe it. You see it. You know it. It is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go. Next up is Randy Arozarena. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Let's go, baby. Nice start there for Big Cal. Hell yeah. Let's go. And we know how good the Cubbies are. They're one of the best teams in baseball, 45-29. They should be able to make a deep run this year. Can't wait to see what they do. And down goes Randy Arozarena. And again, the damage is done. We'll take an early lead. And again, the Cubs are so good, especially at home, 24-13. Realistically, if the Mariners don't get to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, we could get swept. So again, we want to try to win 2 out of 3. Realistically, it'll probably be 1 out of 3. But again, the last thing that we want is to get swept. But for Cal Raleigh to be able to show his dominance and to get that solo jack to get us on the board is huge for our confidence here on the road. Nice job, Cal. Always doing big dumper. Thanks. on the mound for the Mariners here in the bottom of the first. 1-3 record. Looked terrible in his first 3 starts. Got better in his 4th. Had a career high 14 Ks. And again, hasn't played, to the ability of what we know of George Kirby. But again, had shoulder inflammation in spring training and missed 50-plus games before he ended up playing his first. So it's going to take some time, but hopefully we get the good version of Kirby here today, and he will be on the mound here momentarily. Leading off for the Cubs, left fielder Ian Happ. Batting second, right fielder stud, love this guy as well, the former Stro, Kyle Tucker. And batting third, DHing Seiya Suzuki. Cubs got a monster team, and really what it came down to is the development of Pete Crow Armstrong turning into a superstar, Kyle Tucker already being a star on the Astros and joining this team, and then having the role players step up like Happ, Seiya Suzuki, Dansby Swanson, and others to really make this a complete team. Pitching has been good, hitting has been great, and again, we know how many great teams that there are in the National League, right? You got the Dodgers, you got the Giants, right? You got the Padres, and a lot of people are going to be talking about, those teams over there in the National League West. But don't for one second think that the Cubs can't overachieve and make it, to the NLDS, NLCS. And again, they may be a team that could challenge the Padres, Dodgers, Giants, or a few others for representing the National League overall. Let's go, baby. Yeah, sad to see Rowdy leave, and obviously we have a left-handed pitcher, so that's why. And obviously Rowdy has been pretty streaky, sometimes giving us RBIs and home runs. But again, at least we get another opportunity for Luke Raley to see what he can do. And he's a better pure hitter than Rowdy, so we'll see where that goes. First pitch, high and away from Kirby to Happ, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, high and away, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, 2 balls and no strikes to Ian Happ. But again, I would assume that we would see Rowdy Tellez again at some point. It's just a matter of when is it going to be. 2-0 pitch, back. See ya! Ian Happ right out of the gates with a solo homer to center, 403 feet. And it's crazy. As soon as something good happens for the Mariners, right, we can't even soak it in. Literally 30 seconds later, leadoff batter goes yard, and just like that, the game is tied. I'm not surprised. Ian Happ, obviously a solid leadoff hitter, which makes it scary because you have Tucker, Suzuki, and Pete Crow Armstrong up next. This might be a long, long day, but again, at least we ended up getting the home run early with Cal, so that way we're not staring up at the scoreboard, even though now it is tied up 1-1, just like that. Next up, right fielder Kyle Tucker. First pitch to Kyle Tucker and a single to center. And again, Tucker is an amazing player. Him and Jeremy Pena, when they're on the Astros, were my 2 favorite. Obviously, they still have Pena, Jose Altuve, and Yordan Alvarez. But with no Alex Bregman or Kyle Tucker, the team really isn't the same. In Houston, they're still good. But obviously, Astros lost, Cubs gained. Next up is Seiya Suzuki. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. Slider, 87 miles an hour by George Kirby. 0-1 count. Knotted up at 1 here early in Chicago. And again, can't wait to be able to see how this all plays out. Should be very, very good, in this particular series. 0-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle with the sinker. Behind in the count, 0-2 from Kirby to Suzuki. Let's go, baby. We need some good defense, good pitching, and we need the bats to come alive. 0-2 pitch, high and away, 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour by Kirby. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first, Kyle Tucker, and no outs. Now Raleigh with his first at-bat, first pitch, solo jack, made it 1-0. Then literally a couple minutes later, leadoff hitter Ian Happ goes yard, solo jack to center, and we're knotted up at 1. It might be a home run party here today. Yeah, not ideal for us living on the West Coast, having 3 games on at 11:20 a.m. on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They could have made at least one of the games late. Like tomorrow, they could have made it at like 5 or 6 or 7 p.m., which could have been a little bit better for an audience. But I still think that we're going to get good views with this series between the Cubs and the Mariners, even though it may be on a little early. And Seiya Suzuki with a nice base knock there, sliding in and safe at second. Wow. And kind of an errant throw there by Julio Rodriguez. You got to be better. And again, Seiya Suzuki, it was a single, but he tried to kind of press the issue there and slid in safe with the double. And it shows you how important it is to be on at any point of the game. Even if you just subtly, just kind of be a little bit lackadaisical there. Julio needs to make sure he gets it in there as quickly as possible. And Suzuki getting in there safe at second. Now runners at second and third with no outs. And everyone's worst nightmare, unless you're a Cubby fan, Pete Crow Armstrong. And again, I love what Pete Crow Armstrong has been able to give the Cubs. Gives them that swagger and that confidence. He is very, very good. And Crow Armstrong fouls out to third. Ben Williamson is there, and that we get incredibly lucky because in that situation, Pete Crow Armstrong could have went for a 3-run homer or a big RBI, so the Mariners luck out. But don't be surprised if Pete Crow Armstrong does damage later in the matchup. Next up, shortstop Dansby Swanson. But again, my 3 favorite players, I think right now that aren't on the Mariners, that aren't really getting enough recognition. Pete Crow Armstrong, Jacob Wilson, the Athletics rookie, who should win Rookie of the Year. And then obviously James Wood, they're on the Nationals. Those 3 guys are great for MLB because obviously we know Cal Raleigh's getting a lot of pub, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, but it's also about the next wave of superstars, whether there be like Jacob Wilson and a rookie, and he can end up being the guy that holds it down for the Athletics, or guys like Pete Crow Armstrong or guys like James Wood on the Nats, to be able to hold it down for their teams. And it's kind of exciting to see where baseball is going. Now let's see who is up next here for George Kirby. In the box is shortstop Dansby Swanson. First pitch, sinker, low and away on the line, but called ball. 1-0 count from Kirby to Swanson. Let's go, George. We're going to need a good performance today. You got to give up 3 runs or less. And if you can do that, we should have a chance. Magic number will be 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits for the Mariners just to compete. And again, that will be a tough task going against a team as good as Chicago. 45-29, 24-13 at home. Realistically, we could get swept. Hopefully we win 2 out of 3, but realistically, we might only win 1 out of 3, but we will see. If you end up taking game 1, you have a good chance for game 2 or 3. 2-0 pitch. Fouled off with the sinker. Slider. 88 miles an hour by George Kirby. 2 balls and 1 strike here in the bottom of the first. 1-1 tie early on by homers by Cal Raleigh and Ian Happ. And they have runners at second and third with 1 out. And realistically, they probably will get a couple more before this inning ends unless we get incredibly lucky. 2-1 pitch. Takes a strike, looking in the zone, high and away. 96 miles an hour with that sinker by George Kirby. 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners at second and third with 1 out. Cubs threatening early, but no one should be surprised because they are the real deal, Foley Field. Bottom of the first, runners at second and third with 1 out. 1-1, Mariners and Cubs tied up early. Wind blowing out at Wrigley. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Tries to paint the corner, misses it by 2 feet. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Swanson. Cole in the building, what's good? All day in the building, what's good? 3-2 pitch. That one is fouled off high and away with the slider. 89 miles an hour by Kirby. Count still full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at second and third and 1 out. We have to get out of this jam, and hopefully we only give up 1 more run. None would be great, but again, with second and third and 1 out, and we'll see how the defense approaches this particular out. Come on, Kirby. 3-2 pitch. And big swing and a miss right down the middle by Dansby Swanson. 2 away. There we go. Way to bring the electricity, George. And again, we need you to settle down. You gave up the home run, just like, Matthew Boyd did to Cal Raleigh. You gave one up to Ian Happ. Let's see if that'll be the only damage that's done here in the bottom of the first. Next up in the 6th hole, first baseman Michael Bush. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 likes within the first hour, 50 or more overall, and 100 in the donos on every single stream. First pitch from Kirby to Bush. Takes a strike looking in the zone. Slider 88 miles an hour by Kirby. 0-1 count. Kirby on the mound. Michael Bush in the box. And hopefully we can keep this game tied at 1. The deeper that the Cubs can get into the 3, 4, 5, 6, it's going to be very, very difficult to keep pace with a team this good. And just like that, knuckle curve in play. Bush brings home 1, brings home 2, and a big RBI single there by Michael Bush. And just like that, 3-1 Cubbies. I'm not surprised. This team is very, very good. Nice job by Michael Bush. 2-run RBI single brings home Seiya Suzuki and Kyle Tucker. And just like that, 3-1 Cubbies. Next up, second baseman Nico Huerner. And again, that's as much as really we can have George Kirby give up. Again, if he gives up any more, we're only in the first inning. So again, this could be a long day for the Mariner fans, and baseball fans in general. But again, this is what a great team looks like. And again, I know we're going to play up to the competition. But again, this Cubs team is one of the best in Major League Baseball, period. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Fouls one off right down the middle with the sinker behind in the count, 0-2. O2 pitch, slider low and away, fouled off by Huerner. Bottom of the first, runner at first, 3-1 Cubs lead. Kirby on the mound, Huerner in the box. See if Nico can end up getting another hit here, or if the Mariners can finally stop the bleeding and get out of this inning. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, low and away. Still behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. Kirby on the mound and Nico Huerner in the box. Josh in the building, what's good? Wind is blowing out pretty mightily out there in Chicago at Wrigley Field, but again, hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of that as well. Not the best lineup, but we do have Luke Raley that ended up getting called up, but Rowdy Tellez ended up getting the designation to go to AAA. We have a left-handy, on the mound, there for the Cubbies, so that's why Donovan Solano is in, and we have more of a righty lineup, but hopefully we'll be able to find a way to, keep in pace with the Cubs, because this team can really, get you on the, strikeouts. They can get you on the RBIs. They can get you on the hits, and they can hit you, left and right. Doesn't matter which side, and, they can hit homers for days. So I'm just hoping that we can, compete. In play. And Huerner flies out to center on the 0-2 pitch, and we finally get out of the first inning, but we're down 2 runs. But at least Cal got a solo jack in the top of the first, so we're not down 3-0. 3-1 doesn't look as bad, but still, Chicago is the real deal. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners in the top of the second inning. And again, on the mound, one of their studs, 6-3 record, ERA of 2.79, Matthew Boyd. Very, very good pitcher. Leading off for the Mariners in the top of the second, DHing Mitch Garver. Kind of makes you wonder, why isn't this Luke Raley? You might as well have put him in the DH spot or right field. So I'm a little confused by this, but we'll see where it goes. Batting second, first baseman Donovan Solano. Since we don't have Rowdy Tellez, at some point you got to call up Tyler Locklear, to at least have another individual that can play first, because I don't think we want Donovan Solano being our everyday first baseman moving forward. And batting third, right fielder today, Dylan Moore. And again, Garver and Moore haven't really given the Mariners a whole lot lately. And again, this is a little head scratcher as well, where you could have put Luke Raleigh here in right field or at DH, but hopefully Garver and Moore will give us something rather than nothing. Judah in the building, what's good? And a quick recap in the matchup in the top of the first pitch to Cal Raleigh, homer to center, 381 feet, 1-0 Mariners. We were feeling pretty good, but obviously that happiness didn't last too long. Right there in the bottom of the first, Ian Happ, homer to center, 425 feet, making it 1-1. And then getting into the heart of the lineup, having Tucker and Suzuki on. Pete Crow Armstrong fouled out, but Michael Bush, 2 batters later, got a 2-run RBI single, and Tucker and Suzuki scored, making it 3-1, and that's where we're sitting right now. Lots of runs, lots of hits early on. First pitch from Boyd to Mitch Garver, DHing today. Takes a strike looking in the zone. Four-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away. Tries to paint the corner and just misses. 1 ball and 1 strike from Boyd to Garver. 1-1 pitch, inside at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Boyd to Garver. 2-1 pitch. That one is fouled off by Mitch Garver. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour, right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. 3-1, Cubbies lead early here in the top of the second. Garver calls timeout to kind of regain his focus here. And we don't expect a whole lot out of Garver and Solano and Dylan Moore, so we'll see what we get here. 2-2 pitch, and popped out to third. 1 away. Down goes Mitch Garver. Next up, first baseman Donovan Solano. First pitch to Donovan Solano, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. Behind in the count, 0-2 from Boyd to Solano. Sometimes it depends on if it's a lefty or a righty on the mound. I never really agreed with, if there's a lefty on the mound that we can't go with lefty batters. That doesn't make any sense to me, especially if the lefty batter is better than bringing in a righty that's not good, So you're telling me that it's impossible for a left-handed pitcher to throw to a left-handed hitter and they can actually get a hit, or a righty to a righty, So I feel like that whole type of, kind of common sense in baseball, as Solano strikes out swinging on a 1-2 pitch, 2 away. That's one thing in baseball that needs to change. And I would love for us to be able to, kind of play small ball, bunt more. We don't really get plunked and hit by too many pitchers anymore, but we're not stealing bags, we're not bunting, and we're not doing the basic things that we need to do to win. And also you have to be able to look at the players who give you the best chance to win. As a manager, you can't be everyone's friend. You have to play the best guys. And I feel that even though Dan Wilson is better than Scott Service, at times he reminds me of Scott with dumb decisions, but hopefully we'll still be able to turn it around in 2025. I still think that we can make a wild card this year. unless we get hot and can catch up to the Astros and they hit a wall. But at this point, it's going to be tough. 2-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle in the zone to Dylan Moore. 2 balls and 1 strike from Boyd to Demo. And again, Demo has been horrific, within the last 30 at-bats. He's only had a couple hits, mostly strikeouts. And again, not really sure why that we have Garver DHing and Moore, playing right field. We would have had a better chance, even putting lefties in, instead of going with this all-righty lineup for the most part because it's a lefty pitcher. But that shows you some managers know, baseball and others do not, and again, some of them just try to do based on what everyone else does. Sometimes you got to, blaze your own trail and be kind of an outsider and do things your way. Otherwise, you're not going to have a lineup good enough to win. And Demo strikes out swinging. Easy 1-2-3 inning. It's like, this guy shouldn't even be on the team. This guy shouldn't be on the team. And this guy should be probably in AAA, if we're really being honest. So it's like, you got 3 guys that, you don't have any really hope for. We would have had a better chance, having Luke Raleigh at DH and in right field having Dominic Canzone. I don't give a shit if they're left-handed hitters. They give you a better chance to get a hit on a good pitcher like Boyd rather than just having 3 shitty hitters that just so happens to be right-handed, and you think that they're going to have a magical 3-for-4 day? Come on, be real. But again, that's that's what baseball is doing nowadays, and it's not just the Mariners. A lot of teams are still doing that kind of strategy, which doesn't make any sense to me. Let's go to the bottom of the 2nd inning and see who's up next here for the Cubbies. Next up for the Cubbies, 3rd baseman Matt Shaw. Batting second, 0-for-0, and his first at bat in the 9-hole, catcher Reese McGuire. And batting at the top of the order with the solo dinger to get them on the board and tied up 1-1, 1-for-1 with a home run and an RBI, left fielder Ian Happ. Let's go Mariners. Let them know, baby. Let's get to those 20 likes within the first hour, and we can get 50 or more throughout the stream. Let's go. And again, I am a little disappointed that they had to send down Rowdy. I would have rather than sent down, Trent Thornton, Mitch Garver, Donovan Solano. But again, we still got guys in AAA like Harry Ford is better than Mitch Garver. Tyler Locklear is better than Donovan Solano or Rowdy Tellez, in my opinion. And, you have guys in AAA that could make a difference right now. And on the trade deadline, we're going to be active. I assume that we're going to be going for a first baseman and a right fielder, as well as 2 or 3 relief pitchers to help us catch up, not only to the Astros, but to the Yankees and Tigers, and trying to be somewhat of a decent team here in 2025. We were very good early in the year, 9 consecutive series won, but since then hit a wall. Average 6 runs per game average when we won 9 series in a row. Then it went down to 1 to 3 runs, and that's kind of where we're at right now. First pitch from Kirby to Shaw, fouled off, high and inside with the sinker, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away, fouled off by Shaw with that sinker, 94 miles an hour, behind in the count, 0-2. But again, with the Cubbies, this is not going to be something where you're going to be able to, win games if you score less than 5 runs. Most of the time, you're going to have to put up 5 to 10 runs, and that's a big deal because the Mariners have a hard time, being able to get runs. Now, luckily, we got a home run at our, first inning at bat with Cal Raleigh, because 48% of our runs are home runs, which means if we don't home run at least once or twice in a game, we typically lose. And then the RBIs will come with that. But if it's only hits with no home runs, Mariners are never going to win. Again, unless you end up having that magical inning where you have back-to-back hits in a row, where you get guys to come home with big doubles, triples, and RBI singles and RBI doubles. But that's just not the way that we're built. 0-2 pitch in play, and Shaw reached on an infield single to first as Kirby can't toe tap the bag in time. And hopefully we can end up getting a double play here with a slow dribbler by the catcher, Reese McGuire. We need something to go our way. Bottom of the 2nd inning, 3-1 Cubs, and they're going to review the play to see if he was safe or not. Schedule doesn't get any easier for the Mariners, and again, I'll pull it up here. All right, so we got a pretty tough road trip here. So they're reviewing the play right now with the challenge. All right, there we go. The challenge goes our way. The toe tap was in time. There we go. Cubs fans are booing. They don't like that. But again, we finally get something to go our way, 2 away. Next up is Reese McGuire. So we got this 3-game set on the road with the Cubs, incredibly tough. Then we go to Minnesota and play the Twins in a 4-game set. Not going to be easy. Then we go on the road and play the Rangers in a 3-game set. Finally come home at the end of the month and play the Royals with a 4-game set, and then a 3-game set at home on 4th of July weekend with Paul Skeens. So again, it's going to be very critical that we win the games that we're supposed to against like the Rangers and the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we have to hope that we can end up winning, 2 out of 4 or 3 out of 4 against the Minnesota Twins after this series. And then again, we're not sweeping the Cubs, and we might not even be able to win 2 games out of 3, but that's best case scenario. Obviously, winning 1 out of 3 is kind of what it feels like will happen. Worst case is if we end up getting swept, because if we get swept by the Cubs, there's a very good chance that the Twins will win 3 out of 4. So we want to make sure that we're still competing and not getting down. The good thing is when we play good teams, we're going to play up to the competition. When we play bad teams or below average teams, we usually play down to the competition. As McGuire on a 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, strikes out swinging, and the Mariners get out of the inning unscathed. There we go. So again, we'll see where it goes. I still believe, at some point the Astros will hit a wall and we'll be able to slightly catch up, but we'll see where it goes. Well, that's 2 away. I figured we were out at the inning on 3 away, but that's 2 away. Next up is Ian Happ. First pitch from Kirby to Happ. Takes a strike looking on the line, 0-1 count. No problem. Enjoy your fishing out there. Bottom of the 2nd inning, 3-1 Cubs. Nobody on and 2 outs. Kirby on the mound, Happ in the box. And Happ ended up doing the damage, getting that solo jack to tie the game up 1-1 after Cal homered on the first pitch at his at-bat in the top of the first. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees to Ian Happ. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Happ here in the bottom of the 2nd. Let's go, baby. And Happ lines out to center, and that is out number 3. And again, it's always not ideal when you give up a lot of hits and a lot of runs, but as long as the pitcher can kind of settle down after getting beat up early, that's really what we need. And again, a much better inning for Kirby that inning compared to what happened there in the bottom of the first. All right, let's go to the top of the 3rd inning and see if the Mariners can get another run or tie this game up. Next up for the Mariners in the 8-hole, 3rd baseman, Ben Williamson. Batting second baseman in the 9-hole, Cole Young. And back at the top of the order, we're going to need production if we have any chance in this series with J.P. Crawford. And hopefully we can get Julio's bat to come alive. Cal is going to hold it down. But again, we need more. Let's go. Sammy Sosa is in the building. First time that he's been in the clubhouse, in quite some time, 21 years. Since 2004. 28 home runs for Cal Raleigh, baby. Let's go. And Cal has tied Hall of Famer Johnny Bench for the most home runs by a catcher before the All-Star break in MLB history. And again, that won't be the last homer that you see before the All-Star break. Cal will be over 30, 100%. Now they got Sosa on the big screen. And Sosa did the skin bleaching thing where Michael Jackson had the same thing done where he was very, very dark and did the skin bleaching and looked very, very white. And obviously Sosa did that years ago, but it looks like he decided not to continue with the skin bleaching because he actually looks darker like he did when in his playing days. So Not really sure why, people do the skin bleaching thing. But again, be proud of who you are. And Sosa looks good out there. And he'll be in the booth on the Cubs broadcast later in the matchup. And I'm watching both Cubs and Mariners. So I'll definitely be tuning into that as well to see what Sammy has to say. First pitch to Ben Williamson by Boyd. Takes a strike in the zone, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Boyd to Williamson. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss with the changeup in the zone to Big Ben. Matthew Boyd, 1 ball and 2 strikes in the top of the third with a 3-1 Cubbies lead here on MLB Network, and it is a global broadcast. Yeah, and obviously with Michael Jackson, I don't think it really, was, it was something that you noticed, but with Sosa, it was like so noticeable, like it didn't even look like him anymore. With Michael Jackson, it was obviously, with all the plastic surgery and everything and whatnot, but Sosa, back when he did it, he was wearing like cowboy hats, and I don't know if he wanted to be a cowboy, but again, the skin bleaching, going from dark to incredibly pale was quite shocking to see back in the day. So, but it looks like Sosa has come back to his original roots, so to speak. 1-2 pitch in play, and Williamson grounds out to the shortstop, throw to first, 1 away. Up for the Mariners in the 9-hole, Cole Young. Let's go, Cole. First pitch, right down the middle, taking a strike looking from Boyd, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off. Sinker on the line, behind in the count, 0-2. We're 3 likes away from 20. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 likes or more on the stream overall. We're at 17. 3 more to go to get to 20, and then we'll be on our way to 50 or more. And obviously, we'll be shooting for 100 in the donos on every single stream. Boyd on the mound, Cole Young in the box. Top of the third, 3-1 Cubbies lead. No balls and 2 strikes. And an 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss for Cole Young. Down goes Cole, 2 away. Next up for the Mariners is shortstop J.P. Crawford. Let's go, J.P. We're going to need you, baby. Three more to get to 20. We're at 17 all day. 3 more to get to 20 within the next 17 minutes. We can do that. Plenty of people in the room. First pitch to J.P. Crawford from Boyd. Takes a strike looking in the zone. 0-1 count. Come on, J.P. And when not having J.P. in the lineup, it's like impossible to win. 0-1 pitch. Fouled off high and away. Behind in the count, 0-2 from Boyd to J.P. Crawford. And again, Matthew Boyd is a very good pitcher. 6-3 record, ERA of 2.79. So again, it's going to be very tough to be able to get runs on him, but at least Cal got that solo dinger. But again, hopefully we can get a couple more so we can keep pace with Chicago, so that way we're not down 5-1, 6-1, 7-1 by the time those starters go out, Boyd and Kirby. 0-2 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball misses the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Boyd to Crawford. 1-2 pitch. Low and at the knees with the changeup, 78 miles an hour by Boyd. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Come on, JP. We need you, baby. Two pitch. JP fouls that one off. 2 balls and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. Come on, JP. Two pitch. Curveball high and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. Come on, JP. 3-2 pitch. Fouled off high and away. Four-seam fastball. Count still remains 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Matthew Boyd on the mound. J.P. Crawford in the box. Come on, J.P. Come on, JP. And again, once we can get that first hit on 2 outs, we're pretty good, hitting with 2 outs. Not a lot of teams are. We're going to be very good in the 7th, 8th, and 9th after Boyd exits. But again, early on, Boyd is wheeling and dealing in play. And Crawford grounds out to the shortstop, throw to first. And that is the end of the Mariners in the top of the 3rd. Let's go to the bottom of the 3rd inning and see who's up here for Chicago. Next up for the Cubbies, 1-for-1 with a run, right fielder Kyle Tucker. Batting second, 1-for-1 with a run, DHing Seiya Suzuki. And batting third, 0-for-1, center fielder, superstar Pete Crow Armstrong. And we gained a couple subs. Shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired, not only today, but in 2025. Appreciate you guys. Only 27 more to get to 20,900, 127 to hit 21,000. And that's what we're shooting for. And I want to give a big shout out to all of the regular watchers, 2,900 regular watchers on the channel. On a day in, day out basis. We've been able to get every metric to be able to go up. Right now we got 89% male, 11% female. And then for all the people that are watching all around the globe, United States is at 70%, but Venezuela, if you're watching from there, 5.6%, Mexico, 4.0%, Dominican Republic, 2.2%. And then we have Philippines, Canada, Japan, Colombia, India, Panama, New Zealand, Australia, just to name a few of the countries that are tuned in and locked in to the NWSF. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Yes, Julio is playing. Not sure if he'll do anything today, but he will be playing. On the mound here in the bottom of the 3rd, 1-3 record, ERA of 5.96. Missed the first 50-plus games with shoulder inflammation in spring training. Was terrible in his first 3 starts back, but then in his 4th start, had a career high, 14 Ks, and he's starting to kind of get back to the George Kirby that we know, but a little shaky early on, giving up 3 runs in the first, and hopefully that'll be the only runs that Kirby gives up. That's a tough task, especially with the lineup of Happ, Tucker, Suzuki, and Armstrong. That's deadly. First pitch to Kyle Tucker, the former Stro, high and away, 1-0 count. And Tucker was like my favorite player on the Stros besides Jeremy Pena. When they had the big 5 with Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Jeremy Pena, Yordan Alvarez, and Kyle Tucker. And again, the Cubs should be able to lock in Tucker long term. They don't want Tucker to leave to go to like the Yankees or Dodgers. If you have that happen, good night. 1-1 pitch. High and away with the changeup. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Tucker. STL in the building. What's good? Nico is playing today as well. We're at 20 likes. Let's get to 30, and then the ultimate goal is to get to 50. Let's go. How you doing, STL? Excited about LSU? I saw that the Beavers went down, a few days back, but I didn't really expect them to make it, to the championship. But it's always cool when you can have a team that you root for advance and try to make it to the College World series and be the champ of college baseball. 2-2 pitch, fouled off, knuckle curve by Kirby. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on in the bottom of the 3rd. 3-1 Cubs lead. Kyle Tucker in the box, George Kirby on the mound. Knuckle curve in play. And Tucker doubles to center. And again, Kyle is very, very good. Right off the ivy, hustling into second base and safe. Nice hit. Nice double by Kyle Tucker. Next up, DHing Seiya Suzuki. And sometimes you just need to add 2 or 3 pieces, to really get the team, have that swagger and confidence. And like the Cubs usually are always pretty good, but now they're one of the best in the National League, right there with the Dodgers and the Padres and the Giants and a few others. So definitely excited to be able to see, how far they can take, this run that they're having in 2025. 1 for 1 with a double and a run, batting .259, 18 homers by Suzuki, who's been a key contributor to this roster. First pitch, high and inside, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, and flied out to Julio Rodriguez. J-Rod is there, 1 away. Nice job, Julio. Good defense there by the no-fly zone. Next up, center fielder Pete Crow Armstrong. Absolute stud. First pitch to Pete Crow Armstrong, fouls it off high and inside. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, 0-1 count. We're going to be looking for a right fielder, a first baseman, and probably 2 or 3 relief pitchers to give us more depth, because obviously we know the bullpen isn't very good besides Matt Brash, Gabe Spire, and Edward Bazardo. Everyone else is very hit or miss. And obviously we got a great closer in Andres Munoz, but unfortunately we don't see Brash and Spire every day. And, that's been kind of a killer to us. And Crow Armstrong up and out, 2 away. We'll take that out there. Ben Williamson staying active there at third for both of Armstrong's outs here today. Next up is shortstop Dansby Swanson. 0 for 1 with a K at his first at bat. Bottom of the third, 3-1 Cubs. Kirby on the mound. Swanson in the box. First pitch to Swanson and popped up and flies out to center to Julio, and that's the end of the third inning. Nice defense there by Julio Rodriguez, and we're going to the top of the fourth with a 3-1 Cubs lead. So even though that Kirby gave up 3 in the first, he has settled in quite a bit, and hopefully that'll be the only 3 runs he gives up to give us a chance to be able to compete, let alone win later in the game. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 1, Julio Rodriguez. Come on, J-Rod. You've been really cool. And, again, you haven't been really living up to the expectations of the last 2 to 3 weeks. So hopefully J-Rod can get it going here. Trident's up. We need you, baby. Batting second, 1 for 1 with a solo jack in the top of the first inning. You know who it is. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. 28 homers for Cal, number 1 in MLB. Tied Hall of Famer Johnny Bench in 1970 for the most home runs by a catcher before the All-Star break, 28. And guess what? He'll get a few more before the All-Star break is over. He'll be in the 30s. Big facts. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a K, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Let's go, baby. All right, come on, Julio. We need you. Trident's up. First pitch from Boyd to Julio here in the top of the fourth. Takes the strike swinging with the changeup. Low and away. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Fouls it off right down the middle. Four-seam fastball by Matthew Boyd. 6-3 record with a ERA of 2.79. Definitely very electric by Boyd. Going to be tough. Finding the count now 0-2 from Boyd to Julio. 0-2 pitch. High and away to Julio Rodriguez. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs here in the top of the fourth. Come on, J-Rod. You got to live up to that contract, my guy. And again, it might be a little subtle shock that Cal is doing so much better than you. But again, play within yourself. It doesn't have to be a home run swing. You know, you can play small ball and help the team win. Instead of popping up, grounding out, or striking out, looking, or swinging. In play, and lined out to center, 1 away. Down goes Julio. Next up is big dumper catcher Cal Raleigh. Could he get home run number 29 here? We'll wait and find out. Trident's up. Let's go, Cal. We'll take singles. We'll take doubles. And we'll take homers, baby. Let's go. Bring that electricity, Cal. I mean, single-handedly, Cal has won us many, many games. And, again, you can't expect him to get multiple homers and 5-6 RBIs every game. It's just not going to happen. So hopefully we can get a few other individuals to step up. First pitch from Boyd to Raleigh. Inside at the knees with the curve. 1-0 count. Come on, Cal. One-0 pitch at the knees again with the slider. This time around, 82 miles an hour. 2 balls and no strikes from Boyd to Raleigh. 2-0 pitch at the knees again with the curve. 3 balls and no strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. And this should be a walk here for Cal. 3-0 pitch. And there's the 4-pitch walk. Cal goes to first. Next up is left fielder Randy Arozarena. Let's go, Randy. This would be a great time to get an RBI double. It would be tough for Cal to score from first to home, though. But just keep the inning going. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 likes before the stream ends. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. First pitch, high and away to Randy Arozarena, 1-0 count. They got Sosa on the Cubs broadcast in the booth here. I'm watching both, Cubs broadcast and Mariners. Got multiple pages up as well, MLB.com, ESPN.com, as well as the broadcast. You know, it takes a lot of work. Got to grind it out. First pitch from Boyd to Arozarena, 1-0 count. Curveball, 70 miles an hour there by Matthew Boyd. Nice. We're going to need all the luck that we can get all day. That's for sure. I appreciate you holding it down here while Captain is at work. Yeah, Cade going to the Mariners would be great. I mean, we're very good at developing pitchers. Starters or relief guys if they come from college. Obviously if they come from another team, development will be up to that player and whatnot. But yeah, we would definitely take a player like that if he fell into our laps. 1-1 pitch, fouled off high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Top of the 4th inning, 3-1 Cubs lead. Sosa in the booth on the Cubs broadcast. First time that he's back, in the Cubs dugout in 21 years, since 2004. So there's definitely a different type of energy with Sosa in the building with the crowd, you can tell. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. 2-2 pitch. And big swing and a miss. And Randy has a problem of striking out early and often. Down goes Randy Arozarena. Nice pitch by Boyd. We're not haters here. We'll give him the love that he deserves. Nice electric pitch by Boyd there. 2 away. Next up DHing today, 0 for 1, Mitch Garver, which doesn't really make any sense since we just called up Luke Raleigh, right? He's healthy now, and we sent down Rowdy Tellez, and I know it's a left-handed pitcher, and they want to go with righties, but hell, man, Garver, Solano, Moore, that's not ideal. 3 guys, it's like you might not get anything out of those 3. So essentially, we're playing with 6 guys instead of 9. We'll see how this goes. Garver can get you maybe 1 hit in a full game, maybe. Donovan Solano, maybe 1. Dylan Moore, I don't even know if you can count on him on getting 1. He had 8 homers early, when Polo had 9 homers batting .384 in April. And Demo was good in April and March early in the season, but since then, he's been terrible. And I don't even know why he's playing, if I'm really being honest. Like Garver, Solano, and Moore shouldn't even be on the fucking team. But, I'm not the manager or the owner. 0-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle, behind in the count 0-2 to Mitch Garver. Again, like I mentioned early in the broadcast, just because a left-handed pitcher is going to be on the mound for the opponent, the Cubs, doesn't mean that we have to go with all righties, especially if they're shitty hitters to begin with. It doesn't matter if it's a lefty pitcher or a righty pitcher. Those guys can't fucking hit. Garver, Solano, and more, especially when you got guys like Dominic Canzone or Luke Raley or some of the other lefties that can hit, Like, what is the logic of saying that a left-handed pitcher, can throw to a left-handed hitter and he's always going to get him out? Come on, man. Be real. 0-2 pitch, low and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. But again, it's like, if we don't have enough good right-handed hitters, well, that's something that we need to definitely, and we have a few switch hitters, like Polo that can go left or right, or Cal Raleigh left or right. But again, we need better righties. And we don't have, so again, if we're going to get a first baseman or a right fielder, getting a righty would be, ideal if we could get it. And then obviously righties or lefties, for the bullpen at the deadline, maybe, 2 righties and a lefty would be good, or 2 lefties and a righty, since we really only have Gabe Spire as the lefty in the pen that we use. So we'll see. And Cal steals second. There we go, baby. Ninth steal for Cal Raleigh. Two pitch to Garver. High and away. Count now was full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. And that's, when you have a DH, you're supposed to have someone that actually can hit, not someone that's the worst hitter on the team playing DH. And, again, if you're not going to be being an everyday player, you want to make sure you have someone that actually can help you win. And, again, I would have rather had Polo going against a lefty than having Mitch Garver play. But somehow, some way, Boyd walks Garver. And again, we definitely will take that. Runners now at first and second with 2 outs. Next up, a guy that actually was considered the worst player on the team with Trent Thornton in the pen. And now he's better than Garver, and he's better than Dylan Moore, Donovan Solano. Now, it's not like I trust him, compared to some of the other guys on the team, but again, Solano actually has improved quite a bit, within the last couple months. Started off the season 4 for 40. In play, and look at that. Donovan Solano with a single to right. Raleigh, go, go, go. And Cal scores. Garver the third. 3-2 Cubs. There we go. There we go. And again, for a guy that started off the year 4 for 40, that was batting 100, we were talking about how bad he is, but since they let Rowdy Tellez go and Luke Raley got called up today, this is really our only first baseman that we got, but he has played well, and he continues to play well. Nice job. Next up is right fielder Dylan Moore. Now, if we could just get something out of fucking Dylan, get back to his old ways, we would be just fine. Let's go, Demo. We get an RBI single out of Demo, the game could be tied. But again, great job by Donovan Solano. And again, you just have to be paying attention, to certain guys. A guy can be shitty at the beginning of the year and then get better as the season goes on. Just like Julio, not good in March and April, but great in May and June and July normally, even though he was great in May, and in June he's been ass. Let's be real. But again, it all kind of depends, on the warm weather, the reps, how much playing time you're getting. Are you an everyday player, or are you playing every 3 to 4 games? But I'm very pleased that Solano ended up getting that RBI single. And again, to say that he's better than Mitch Garver and Dylan Moore and some of the other guys in the lineup is kind of a crazy thing to think and say at this point in the season, but it's true. And again, he has been, I don't want to say clutch, but he's been better than he was at the beginning of the year, and we definitely need it. Nice job, Donovan. Maybe they'll have more photos of you that I can use now. And now we need Dylan Moore to do something for us here. We got runners on the corners with 2 outs. Runners at first and third. First pitch to Demo, fouled off, low and away, 0-1 count. And a fun matchup here with the Cubs and the Mariners. Matthew Boyd, 6-3 record, ERA of 2.79. He's fucking electric. 0-1 pitch, inside, 4-seam fastball, tries to jam the hitter at the hips. 1 ball and 1 strike. In the top of the 4th, 3-2 Cubs lead. Mariners cutting it down to 1 now. Now runners on the corners, and if we can get Demo to do something electric here, I don't think anyone expects him to hit a 3-run jack, but we'll see what happens. One of the most memorable moments for the Mariners a few years back when Jared Kelenic was still on the team, when we played Chicago a few years ago, he homered into the upper deck. Not sure if we're going to get something like that out of Demo, but we'll take a single, an RBI single, just something to continue the inning. But don't really hold your breath with Demo. And down goes Dylan Moore, leaving 2 stranded. Don't know why he's playing today, only because he's a righty. It might have worked for Solano, but not working for Demo as he fouls out there in foul territory towards first base. Brutal. Well, at least we got 1. So again, we can't be too mad about that. Again, we have 2 runs and 2 hits. We left 2 stranded, but at least we scored 1 to get it to 3-2 and not being down 3-1. I'll take that. Nice job, Donovan Solano. I don't think I've said that too often this year, but again, more clutch than Garver and more clutch than Demo. I don't even know why Demo's playing, but it is what it is, only because he's a righty. Let's see who's up next here for George Kirby in the bottom of the 4th. Next up for the Cubbies in the bottom of the 4th, 1-for-1 with 2 RBIs. First baseman Michael Busch, RBI single. No. He had a RBI single that brought in 2, and hopefully we can contain Busch at this next at bat. Batting second baseman 0-for-1, Nico Werner. And batting third, 0-for-1 in the 8-hole, third baseman Matt Shaw. Let's go Mariners. Like if we were able to have Luke Raleigh, DH, and Dominic Canzone play right field for Garver and Moore, we would have a better chance to win today. But again, once Boyd goes out and they bring in a righty, then we can bring in all the lefties that we have faith in, and then maybe we can come back in this game, because obviously we're better on the left side than we are from the right side, unless we have a guy that can do both, like Cal and Polo. But we'll see where it goes. At least we're close. We're only down 1 right now, so I'll take that. First pitch from Kirby to Busch, high and inside, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch to Michael Busch, low and away, takes a strike looking on the line, 1 ball and 1 strike to Michael Busch. 1-for-1 with a single and getting 2 RBIs at his first at-bat. 2-run RBI single for Busch, but let's maintain that. 2-1 pitch, high and inside. Count now is 3 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and no outs. 3-2 Cubbies lead here in the bottom of the 4th. It's on MLB Network. It's a global broadcast. Come in and hang out with your boy. hopefully we can prevent walks. And one good thing is Kirby doesn't walk too many guys. So hopefully we'll be able to limit the damage on walks and getting guys plunked, which Kirby doesn't do often. 3-1 pitch, takes a strike right down the middle, fouled off by Bush. Nice souvenir for a fan there. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Bush. Let's go, George. We need you to wheel and deal, baby. Let's go. Bush in the box. Kirby on the mound. But I would rather have Harry Ford and Tyler Locklear than Garver and Demo at this point. In play, and Bush singles to right. Nice hit there by Michael. Michael stays hot with 2 hits in his first 2 at-bats. And those are the guys that you got to worry about. Everyone, looking at the stat sheet will be looking at Happ and Tucker, Suzuki, and Pete Crow Armstrong. And then sometimes they won't look at the others. But you always have to have good role players to win. And that's what you're getting today out of Michael Bush in the 6 hole. Next up, second baseman in the 7 hole, Nico Werner. Yeah, I live here in Oregon in the Pacific Northwest, and one of my really good friends is a beat maker, here in the Pacific Northwest. And again, anytime that you can support your friends with their dreams and goals, and obviously being able to showcase some of his talent. And again, he has other things that he works on as well, but I'm always willing to be able to have some good catchy background music while I end up calling the game. So I used to use a few years back just a couple of default tracks that came with the streaming program, but then now I have access to like 10 to 20 tracks. Some of them are kind of a baseball feel. Others they don't really work as well, based off the, stream that I'm doing. So I usually save some of those other ones for other types of streams, like, WWE or something else. But that's what we have in the background here. Brooks Beats, my boy. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging in the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Nico Werner. Let him know. But everything is original, and again, he puts a lot of time and energy and effort. And I told him, if you got dreams and goals, you got to grind. And again, it's not going to be easy to be discovered, as a singer, rapper, beat maker, especially, if you live in the Pacific Northwest, but if you work hard, you will be noticed. And Busta Rhymes reached out to him off, some of his stuff on SoundCloud a couple years ago. And I told him, if you just keep going, there'll be other people that'll notice you. You just have to be diligent, patient, and, keep, obviously that talent level, on a consistent level, and again, if you love doing it, people will notice, and he definitely has the talent. And there we go, 1 away. Down goes Nico, and that's what we needed there. Next up, in the 8 hole is third baseman Matt Shaw. First pitch, fouled off at the knees, 0-1 count. I know, and for me, I'm one of those people, like if I have someone that I know that has talent and that has dreams and goals, I'm not going to be a hater, which is kind of the mentality that we see in this generation nowadays. It's like, oh, I want you to do good, but not better than me type of attitude. But for me, I'm kind of the opposite. If I feel that someone is worthy of, getting a little bit of love or pub or exposure, yeah, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be able to help that person achieve their dreams like I did. But I've been doing this a lot longer than he has, so again, this will be my 13th year of recording, 9th on YouTube. Next year will be 14 years, 10 on YouTube. So again, he still has a ways to go, but I do have faith in him, because, you can get your music, shown in commercials, background music, movies, TV, any type of R&B or rap artist. You never know when your music might be able to get picked up and you get a check in the mail. So 0-1 pitch, makes a strike looking high and inside. 0-2 count from Kirby to Shaw. Yeah, and I do believe the Mariners can come back. It's going to be hard. I mean, the Cubs are one of the best teams in baseball, But again, I do believe that we can, especially once Boyd goes out. And down go the Cubbies there. Good defense there by the Mariners. End of the 4th inning, and we're only down 1. But again, hitting home runs against the Cubs is going to be definitely important. If we don't hit enough, even if they're solo jacks, 48% of our runs are home runs. So again, those games where we have no home runs, we lose probably 98% of the time, unless you're lucky enough to get, 10 to 15 hits and none of them are homers and you're bringing guys in with RBI left and right. But that's not really the equation for Mariners a lot of the time. So you need to have that balance of a homer or two, preferably 3. And then obviously those RBIs will either be before or after the homer. So we'll see where it goes. But again, realistically, with a team that's 45-29, 24-13 at home, compared to what the Mariners are, 37-36, we're only one game above 500, 17-17 record on the road. So again, realistically, we win 1 out of 3. But if we can overachieve and win game 1, maybe we can win 2 out of 3. And we got our best pitcher, Logan Gilbert, on the mound tomorrow. So if we can win today, we might be able to steal one tomorrow, and then the Cubs win maybe the rubber match. But again, I don't think that either team is going to sweep. But if there were a team that were to sweep, it would be Chicago against Seattle, not the other way around. But I like that we're only down a run at this point. So let's see if we can tie the game up here in the top of the 5th. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 1 in the 8-hole, third baseman, Big Ben Williamson. Let's go B-Dubs. Batting second baseman, Cole Young, 0 for 1 with a K. It's a Cole world. Let's go, Cole. And batting third, a guy that we need to be able to get going if we want to win this game, shortstop 0 for 2, J.P. Crawford. And when J.P. plays and gets hits, in his first couple at-bats, it really does set the tone. When he doesn't, and then you have to pray that, on bat number 3 and bat number 4, that he at least gets a single and helps, kind of the rally. And hopefully we can end up coming back and tying this up or taking the lead. 0-1 pitch in play, and Williamson pops out to first, 1 away. We need to be able to grind out at bats as well. Sometimes we're a little too eager, but again, when you end up having some guys that played in AAA a few months back, they're still learning. And Ben Williamson is from AAA to Tacoma Rainiers, as well as the 9-hole hitter, Cole Young, from the Tacoma Rainiers. And we're still waiting for Harry Ford. And we just have to find the right balance, of young guys and OGs, instead of just having a bunch of older guys where you already know what you're going to get out of them. Guys like Mitch Garver, and Donovan Solano, even though he's, done better. But it's not like the Mariners have done a good job in free agency the last couple years. Garver and Polanco. Polo was great at the beginning of the year, this year, but then he faded, and he's starting to get singles now. He's the best player out of the 4. But then this year, Miles Mastroboni and Donovan Solano, that was terrible. Right now, Mastroboni is decent, is an average player, and Donovan Solano was terrible at the beginning of the year and is getting better lately. But we should have used that money for relief pitching rather than getting guys that play in the infield or the outfield. We have plenty of guys in the farm that we could have called up. So 2-1 pitch, slider, big swing and a miss to Cole Young. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Boyd DeYoung. Come on, Cole. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Cole Young in the box. Matthew Boyd on the mound. Come on, Cole. Two-two pitch, and he gets strike out looking. Nice job by Boyd, wheeling and dealing. And again, Boyd is not easy to get out. 6-3 record, ERA of 2.79. 2 away. Next up, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Come on, J.P. We need you to get on base. Let's go, J.P. Give us that swagger and that energy. Let's go. Top of the 5th, 3-2 Cubs. Nobody on and 2 outs. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 likes or more on the stream. First pitch, and lined out to the pitcher, and that was way too quick of an inning for the Mariners. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. Can't believe Bush got that line drive back from JP. Unbelievable. Great defense there by Boyd as he throws the ball into the crowd. That'll be a good souvenir. And we've seen George Kirby, end up taking a line drive to the nose and the mouth and had to exit the game. Great awareness by Boyd right there. Putting the glove up and not getting hit in the face. Dad is celebrating in the crowd, and he loves it. Next up in the bottom of the fifth, 3-2 Cubbies lead. Let's see who's up next. Next up, 0 for 1 with a K in the 9-hole, catcher Reese McGuire. Batting second, 1 for 2 with a run and an RBI, left fielder Ian Happ had a solo dinger in the first to tie it up 1-1 after Cal homered on the first pitch at his first at-bat. And batting third, 2 for 2 with a run, right fielder stud from the Stros, Kyle Tucker. Try dance up. Let's go M's. Rooting for the Cubs. I know a lot of people are. Yeah, but the thing is also Demo's not an everyday player. Again, so the averages aren't going to be the greatest. He does have 8 homers, at the beginning of the year, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And Polo had 9 homers, was batting .384 in April, and then only had 1 homer after that in 2 months. And then Dylan Moore at the beginning of the year had 8 homers in the first couple months and hasn't done shit, in the last month and a half. Baseball is long. It's really tough to be consistent, month in and month out. And again, it's nice that, we have guys that we can follow like Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani and Cal Raleigh, breaking into the scene as far as an elite player. But again, you not only need your stars to play well, you need your role players. Not only that, your starting pitching, your bullpen, your closer, your manager needs to make good decisions on when to pull guys and when not to. And again, when teams are flowing together, you'll be able to recognize it. And you also have to have a good farm system as well. And I feel that, we definitely have hit a wall, but the season is far from over for Seattle. First pitch from Kirby to McGuire, fouls it off right down the middle. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away with the changeup. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to McGuire. Let's go, George. We need you, baby. Bottom of the fifth, 3-2 Cubs. He only gave up 3 runs in the first inning and nothing since. So we'll see where things continue, and I'm kind of wondering where we're going to go, pitching-wise, after Kirby. Even if we're down a run, we can't bring in, a Colin Snyder or a Trent Thornton. Otherwise, we lose. It's like you almost have to bring in Brash or Gabe Spire to give us a chance where those guys might not give up anything, and then we get those runs to come in the 7th, 8th, and 9th after, the starting pitcher goes out, Boyd. But, maybe it'll be Bizzardo or, Legomina, and for guys like that, it's kind of like, well, you hope that they don't give up anything, but it's not a guarantee. 3-1 pitch. That one is fouled off by Reese McGuire. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. 3-2 Cubbies lead here in the bottom of the 5th. 3-2 pitch. High and away with the sinker, fouled off. Count still full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to McGuire. Yeah, but the thing is with DePoto and the ownership, they're not the brightest. They don't want to spend money, at least that we know how to draft guys and develop guys, but when we bring in guys from other teams, Seattle's park is, at T-Mobile is the hardest park to hit at, so, signing guys like Mitch Garver, Jorge Polanco, Miles Mastrobuoni, and Donovan Solano, you got one guy that's panned out of the 4, not good. Again, that's why we need to be calling up more of the farm guys and giving them a chance to show what they can do, like Harry Ford and Tyler Locklear, who got to play with the Mariners a little bit last year. You bring those guys up and get rid of guys like Garver and Demo or Solano. We can, Solano might be worth keeping now because he's getting better, but, it's going to be tough. And guys like Trent Thornton shouldn't be on the team either in the pen. It's like we only got a couple guys that are trustworthy out of 8 or 9 guys in the pen. We got 2 that are trustworthy. And then we have an amazing closer with Munoz, but we're not going to use him every day. And same thing with Brash and Spire, our 2 best relievers. We don't use them every day. And, you have to rely on some of those others. And that's been kind of the, the bugaboo for the Mariners, so to speak. 3-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. Count still full, 3 balls and 2 strikes to McGuire. 3-2 pitch. Back. See ya! Unbelievable. 9-hole hitter. Reese McGuire homers off Kirby. 4-2 Cubbies. And again, you can't win games if you're going to give up a homer to the 9-hole hitter there. And again, George Kirby, missed the first 50-plus games. When he's healthy, he's normally a top 20 pitcher in MLB. But again, he had shoulder inflammation, in spring training, missed the first 50-plus games, was terrible in his first 3 starts. Then in his 4th start, he had a career-high 14 Ks. And then since then, he's been kind of shaky. And again, another home run given up to make it 4-2 Chicago. Next up is left fielder Ian Happ. But it shows, again, with Mariners, this is probably the most beat-up team that we've had. We have a lot of talent. But again, think about how many teams could survive with an above 500 record if 3 out of your 5 studs in the pitching staff, which Mariners are normally known as a top 5 or top 3 pitching staff when healthy, are injured. We didn't have Gilbert for half of the year. We didn't have Bryce Miller, who's back on the IL, and George Kirby. We didn't have him for the first 50 games. So we had to rely on Wu and Castillo, called up guys like Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock to kind of step up. But again, it hasn't been ideal. But again, hopefully we're getting to a point where some of our guys are getting healthy, but we are missing guys like Victor Robles tremendously. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees with the knuckle curve. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Happ. I'm not sure thriving would be the word that I would use. They ended up sending Campbell back down to AAA. They got, Roman Anthony and a couple guys that are trying to, do what they can do after the Devers trade. But again, it's a long season. Anything can happen. 2-2 pitch, high and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on. 3-2 pitch, in play, and Happ flies out to left to the warning track, 1 away. Next up is right fielder Kyle Tucker. Yeah, but we definitely don't have the best ownership, the best GM or the best manager. And it's hard to be able to compete, when you see teams that are going to be, spending all the money, but just because you spend money doesn't mean you're going to win. But you definitely have to spend money to have the right players come to the team. And we already know the Yankees and Dodgers are going to be good every year. And I'm not saying the Mariners need to be them, but, if they were a little bit smarter on how they manage this team and actually cared about, winning rather than profits, then we would be able to go further. But again, every once in a while we'll overachieve and then they'll try to think that like they did something, but it's just the players playing better than expected. But we definitely have hit a little bit of a wall, and hopefully we can compete in this series and Minnesota as well. 2-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 3 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Tucker. We know how good Kyle Tucker was on the Houston Astros, and if the Chicago Cubs don't lock in this guy long term, you shouldn't let Tucker or Pete Crow Armstrong or Suzuki leave this team. This is the kind of the cornerstone of the franchise. And again, if the Cubs get cheap, the Dodgers or Yankees will be calling, for a guy like Kyle Tucker to add that piece to their team to win. 3-1 pitch, fouled off, slider right down the middle. 86 miles an hour there by Kirby. Count now full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. 4-2 Cubbies lead. 3-2 pitch, and that is a walk. Next up, DHing Seiya Suzuki. We need a slow dribbler right up the middle to JP Crawford, throw to Solano to get out of the inning. And hopefully that'll happen here. We're already down 2. Gained a few more subs on the stream. I appreciate that. 25 subs to go to 20,900. 125 to get to 21,000. Shout out to all the people that have liked the sub, or liked the stream, subbed to the channel, and we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. And we got a mound visit with Kirby and Cal Raleigh. Hopefully we can get the right combination of pitches here to be able to get the double play and to get out of this inning. Bottom of the fifth, 4-2 Cubs. Runner at first with one out. Kirby on the mound, Suzuki in the box. First pitch from Kirby to Seiya Suzuki. Tries to jam the hitter inside with the sinker and does. Fouls it off. 0-1 count. Suzuki in the box. George Kirby on the mound. Come on, Kirby. But Bryce Miller, his season might be a wash this year. Kirby doesn't really look like himself. Definitely this is kind of a shadow, a shell of himself than what we're used to. Wu has been great. Logan Gilbert's great. Luis Castillo has been okay. And again, Emerson Hancock has been pretty good with Logan Evans, but we need consistency. And Suzuki flies out to center. Julio is there. No fly zone, 2 away. There we go, Julio. Next up, center fielder stud, Pete Crow Armstrong has fouled out twice. I don't know if it'll happen here again, but we got to make sure that he doesn't make this lead any higher than it already is. First pitch, tries to jam the hitter, fouls it off, 0-1 count. But I really love Pete Crow Armstrong and what he's been able to, bring to the team with Tucker and Suzuki already there. Great fucking player. 268 average, 20 homers, 60 ribbies. Fantastic, just like Jacob Wilson for the Athletics. I love him as well. Should win Rookie of the Year. And James Wood, obviously they're on the Nats, so it's like it's nice to be able to see like the up-and-coming players, being able to dominate, at this early, stage of their careers. And you can be a young gun and be the next wave of, superstar to be able to cheer for, regardless if they're on your favorite team or not. 0-1 pitch, fouls that one off right down the middle, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Kirby, behind in the count 0-2 to Pete Crow Armstrong. And if for whatever reason, if Pete Crow Armstrong goes 0 for 4 today, you best believe he won't go 0 for 4 tomorrow or on the rubber match on Sunday. So far so good, but anyone that watches Pete Crow Armstrong on the regular, this guy is really given the lift that the Cubs needed in 2025. But they wouldn't be where they're at also without Suzuki and Kyle Tucker. They definitely have a squad. 0-2 pitch, fouled off with the knuckle curve low and away. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. 0-2 pitch, and Pete Crow Armstrong strikes out swinging, and that's rare. Pete Crow Armstrong 0 for 3 today, which means he'll have a revenge game either tomorrow or Sunday, or he'll come up big late in the game for his last at-bat. But again, at this point, they didn't even need him. He's 0 for 3, but they have a 4-2 lead, so we'll see where it goes. But definitely excited to see what he does later in the game, but hopefully nothing too crazy. All right, see who's up next here for the Mariners and the top of the 6th. And let's look at some pitching stats up to this point. It's been kind of not really a pitcher's duel. It's been, quite a few homers in the matchup. But for George Kirby, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 runs in the first, 1 walk, 3 Ks, 85 pitches to 60 strikes, ERA 6.16, which is not good. Bottom line. And then let's go to Matthew Boyd, who's electric. Came into the matchup with a 6-3 record, ERA of 2.79, 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks, 76 pitches, 48 strikes, and an ERA of 2.84. Quite a bit of a difference there from Kirby and Boyd. But we're only down 2 runs, so hopefully we can get another run, before Boyd exits. And I don't know how long Boyd will go, if he'll go 6 or 7 innings. His pitch count is low, but the faster that we can get Boyd out and get a righty in, then maybe we'll be able to come back. But it's definitely going to be tough. Let's see who's up next here. And it looks like Boyd's day is done. They're going to bring in Presley early. Maybe this will be where we can start raking. Okay, here we go. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Batting second, big dumper catcher Cal Raleigh. And batting third, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And based on Boyd's pitch count, he could have went 2 more innings. But again, for whatever reason, they decided to have him sit early, and maybe this will be where we come back. We're at 30, 20 more to go. But I'm a little shocked. As good as Matthew Boyd has pitched today, why would you have him exit this early? 76 pitches, right? I mean, you've only given up 2 runs, 2 hits. Little odd of a move there by Chicago, but we'll see what happens here. But they're going to be bringing in a righty, which means that we can bring in our lefties, and we're better with lefties than righties. So again, instead of Mitch Garver or Dylan Moore, I assume that we'll be able to get Dominic Canzone and Luke Raley a chance to rake, and maybe that'll be, when we actually end up coming back in this game. But we'll see. First pitch from Presley to Julio, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Oh-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. Come on, J-Rod. If we ever needed a homer or a big single or double, it's now. Come on, J-Rod. Trident's up. Let's go. 1-1 pitch, fouled off, low and away. Slider, 89 miles an hour by Presley. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez here in the top of the 6th. Cubs up by 2, 4-2 lead. One-two pitch, and Julio grounds out to second, throw to first, 1 away. One for one with 2 runs, an RBI, and a base on ball. Had a solo jack at his first pitch in the top of the 1st to go yard. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh. First pitch to Cal Raleigh, high and away, 1-0 count. 28 homers for Cal, number 1 in MLB. And again, if we're going to end up trying to compete with a team like this, we may need Cal to hit more than 1 home run in the game. And he's batting from the left side now, not the right, with a righty in. And it shows you how dominant Cal is. You're not seeing Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge batting from the left and the right. And Cal flies out to center on a 2-0 pitch. 2 away. But hopefully at that next at-bat in the 9th inning, maybe we can get a little bit of Soto mojo and some Mariner magic. Top of the 6th now with 2 outs. Next up is left fielder Randy Arozarena. It's just still cool, to hear Cal's name, with Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. But, we'll see how the rest of this game ends up concluding. First pitch from Presley to Randy Arozarena at the knees. Tries to jam the hitter with the sinker. 93 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Ryan Presley, 91 batters faced in March and May. March through May, 11% K rate. But in June, he's got 33 Ks and 33 batters faced with a 27.3 K percentage. So obviously the percentages have gotten much better here in June than in March, April, and May for Ryan Presley. 1-0 pitch. Low and at the knees, inside with the slider. 2 balls and no strikes from Presley to Randy Arozarena. 2-0 pitch. Curveball, low and away. 3-0 count to Randy Arozarena. Take the walk, Randy. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 likes before the stream ends. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. And we're going to have 3 games on at the same time, 11:20 a.m. today, tomorrow, and Sunday, which isn't really ideal for people that are busy. You know, I was hoping that we would have at least one of those 3 games that was on in the evening, but that's what Chicago does with their schedule. 3-0 pitch, takes a strike looking on the line. 3 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. Come on, Randy. In play. Go, Randy. Go, Randy. Yes, and in there with a double, Randy Arozarena. There we go. And again, we find ways to be able to start rallies with 2 outs. Not saying that Randy's going to be able to get knocked in, but again, great job by Randy Arozarena, and we'll see who's up next. Now, they still have Mitch Garver up next, which is a damn shame, because if it was me, I would be putting in Luke Raleigh, who just ended up getting obviously reactivated, and they sent down Rowdy Tellez. But again, that's what I would do. I would have Luke Raley in this situation here, and then obviously 2 batters after that. Instead of Dylan Moore, I would substitute him for Dominic Canzone. So we'll see what happens. Again, especially when we have a righty pitcher in, you kept these righties in because the pitcher was lefty. Why not do the same? But we'll see if Garver can, do some Mariner magic here. First pitch, high and inside with the 4-seam fastball by Ryan Presley, 94 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Yeah, but they can always do 1 game in the evening. It's like if it's going to be like 2:20 starts for all 3 games, they can always do an evening game. It's not like they don't have any evening times on their schedule. And then plus it also makes it a little bit harder, for us on the West Coast when it's only 11 in the morning. It's not really the most ideal time, for a baseball game. But again, I don't mind doing games at 9, 10, 11 a.m. I mean, I know it's a part of the schedule, especially when we go on a road trip, but, I was just hoping for at least 1 game. I mean, I've never seen, 3 games on at the same time, on a road trip. I've never seen it. This is the first time. So, and all of them being on at 11:20. So, which would be 2:20 for them, but, some places in the Midwest it would be 1:20, but I believe in Chicago it'd be 2, kind of like East Coast, like New York. There's kind of a fine line, based on the time zones where you live. 2-0 pitch, and Garver low and away. 3-0 count to Mitch Garver, and whatever you do, Mitch, don't fucking swing. 3-0 pitch, takes a strike looking. 3 balls and 1 strike with a runner at second. And 2 outs, 4-2 Cubbies lead. And again, it's like Mitch has only got 1 home run on the year, so I don't expect anything like this to happen. But hopefully he can get on, either getting plunked or he can get walked. We just want to keep it close. We know how good the Cubs are. They're just like the Dodgers or the Padres or the Giants, or the Yankees or the Tigers or the Astros. They're very dominant this year. And again, we just have to try to do our best to keep up with a team as good as Chicago. Top of the 6th inning. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Back. See ya. Unbelievable. Let's go. Mitch Garver tying the game up. 2nd home run of the season. And I guess somehow, some way, sometimes our shittiest players end up being the heroes. Mitch Garver, 2-run blast, 4-4 tie. Woo! Let's go. Unbelievable. 2nd homer of the season, and that's exactly what we fucking needed. Unfucking believable. You never would have predicted that. Wow. Unbelievable. My phone is blowing up. They're like, no way he just did that. And that one was long gone, like 30 rows up. Unbelievable. Here we go. Next up for the Mariners, Donovan Solano, who was one of the worst players on the team with Trent Thornton, but has actually been pretty good within the last 3 weeks. First pitch is high and inside, 1-0 count. And all you need is just one shitty pitcher to implode, and then you can come back in the game. And again, they should have kept in, right, Matthew Boyd for another inning or two, and they would have won this game. But they pulled him, and now we're taking advantage with a pitcher that is shaky. 2-0 pitch. High and inside. 3-0 count. Here we go. I like what I'm seeing. 3-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking. Should have been a ball and ball 4, but this should turn into a walk. 3-1 pitch. High and inside, and that is a 5-pitch walk. Here we go. And again, you don't expect anything out of Garver, anything out of Solano, and nothing out of Dylan Moore. But if these 3 guys can end up getting hits and finding ways to get home, this will be the difference in the game. Unfucking believable. Let's go. Next up, right fielder here, as long as they don't have someone pinch hit for him, Dylan Moore. It shows you like how important the game is. Like starting pitching, is everything. But you have to have a good bullpen. And you can have a 1, 2, 3, 4 lead evaporate in a matter of 5 minutes, especially if the pitcher can't hit the strike zone. And now we're going to get Luke Raley coming in for Dylan Moore. So at least they're finally listening. Here we go. Good decision here, and hopefully Luke will be able to give us a little bit of magic. And again, we know Demo has been absolutely terrible. And again, Dominic Canzone, I wouldn't mind seeing him get a chance to pinch hit later in the game. But, for a game that was in the Cubs' control, if they just would have left their pitcher in for another inning or two, Matthew Boyd, they would have won this game, in my opinion, 99%. I mean, it would have been really hard for us to come back. I mean, would we have been able to rally in the last 3 innings? Possibly, but again, for them to be able to go from a dominant lefty to a shaky righty, and then again, Mitch Garver, that's his only 2nd home run of the season. Terrible player, but he found a way to get it done. Nice job, Mitch. And obviously, Dylan Moore has been terrible lately, so we're bringing in Luke Raley, fresh off the rehab stint in AAA. And let's see if Luke can help us continue this inning. First pitch, takes a strike looking, low and away, 0-1 count. Let's go, baby. We're tied up. We have a chance. In play. Go, Raley. Go, Raley. Go. Yes. Luke Raley with his first at-bat gets a double. Now we got runners at 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. And I'm telling you, we're one of the best teams in baseball with 2 outs. We continue to be able to rake in RBIs and home runs even when most teams end up failing. Nice job, Luke. Way to bring that electricity. Your first at-bat, you get a double. My man. Next up, 3rd baseman, Ben Williamson. And let's see if Big Ben can get a clutch RBI. Ben has only got, 1 home run on the year. So again, same thing kind of like Mitch Garver. Ben Williamson, though, is not really a home run hitter. He's a singles hitter like Cole Young. Both him and Cole Young in the 8 and the 9 hole just got called up from the Tacoma Rainiers, our AAA affiliate, a month and a half, 2 months ago. So these guys are very raw. You don't expect a whole lot, but hopefully Ben can get an RBI single here so we can take advantage of this, underwhelming performance by Ryan Presley. But again, Mariner fans, we're here for it. First pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees with the sinker. 1 ball and 1 strike to Big Ben Williamson. Come on, Ben. You got to be smart here. 1-1 pitch, high and inside, fouled off with the slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs. Let's see if we can get 1 more run. Let's go. Well, Luke Raley isn't one of the kids. He was already on the team, and obviously he got hurt. So Luke isn't one of the kids. 1-2 pitch, low and inside the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ben Williamson. 2-2 pitch, and big swing and a miss. Down go the Mariners, but at least we ended up getting that big 2-run homer by Mitch Garver. And again, this guy has been terrible for us this year. Just like Solano, at the beginning of the year, batting 100, 4 for 40, but has gotten better lately. And Demo isn't even worth playing. Again, he had 8 home runs early in the year in the first 2 months and hasn't done really anything since. And smart decision by implementing Luke Raley, and we had to send down Rowdy Tellez to bring him up. But so far, so good. Let's go, baby. What a comeback by the Mariners. We're knotted up at 4. Magic number, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, and we actually have a chance to win this game. See who's up next here for the Cubbies in the bottom of the 6th. Next up for the Cubbies, 0 for 2 with a K, shortstop Dansby Swanson. Batting second, 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs, first baseman Michael Bush. And batting third, 0 for 2, second baseman Nico Werner. Let's go Mariners. And now I got to see what's going on. Kirby, is he going to still be in the game? He's at 85 pitches in the pitch count, so I'm not sure if they're going to go with another pitcher or not, or they're going to have Kirby continue to go out there, but let's go, baby. We're in it. All right, they're bringing in Bizzardo, and I figured that they weren't going to use Brash or Spire. So let's see if Bizzardo can. And Bizzardo right now is probably our third best reliever. You know, right now it goes Brash, Spire, Bizzardo. Maybe even Bizzardo over Spire, you know, lately. But again, you know, it's been one of those, you know, kind of wait and see type of things. And Bizzardo was terrible last year, but he's improved quite a bit this year. So hopefully him and Cal can be on the same page and we can mow down the hitters 1, 2, 3. And then again, we'll see what we get, you know, later on. You know, we got Colin Snyder, we got Legomina, we got, you know, quite a few guys that we could put in. But again, you know, our best are going to be Brash, Spire, Bizzardo. And hopefully Bizzardo can be clean in this inning because guys like Trent Thornton, Colin Snyder, Legomina, you know, have been really, really shaky. So hopefully we can find a way to not give up anything and we can continue to rake. Well, Kirby's out. Bizzardo is in. So both teams have exited their pitchers a little early, you know, based off pitch count. So Kirby was only at 85 pitches and Boyd was at 76. And again, if they would have kept Boyd in the game, they probably would still have a 4-2 lead, in my opinion. So first pitch from Bizzardo to Swanson takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. But Bizzardo actually has been pretty good lately, so as long as he can hit the strike zone and start off with first pitch strikes, we'll be just fine. 0-1 pitch, in play, and grounds out to the shortstop, JP, throw to first to Solano, 1 away. Nice job, Bizzardo. Down goes Dansby. Next up, first baseman, 2 for 2, Michael Bush. First pitch, high and away with the slider, 1-0 count. And I don't think Bizzardo will be like Presley and just, you know, lose the game for us. You know, if we end up losing the game, it'll be, you know, if they have Trent Thornton come in or Colin Snyder afterwards, that's where we may lose, but hopefully that doesn't happen. 1-0 pitch in play. And Bush having a great day today, single to right, 3 for 3 day. And again, it shows you it's not about just the stars, but you also have to have good role players. And Michael Bush, 3 for 3 in the 6 hole. All right, now we need a slow dribbler, a double play right up the middle by Nico Werner to get out of the inning. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. And this is good because with Bizzardo, you can give up a hit or a walk here and there. But again, you want to make sure you're hitting that first pitch strike to get ahead of the count, to give us a better chance to get out of this inning. 0-1 pitch, high and away with the sinker. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bizzardo to Werner. Yeah, once a starting pitcher exits the game, they don't come back in. They're not allowed to. So Kirby is done. So if you had a bet on Kirby for a certain amount of Ks or something of that nature in fantasy baseball, unfortunately his day is done. 0-1 pitch. High and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bizzardo to Nico Werner. And usually games are going to last, 2 hours and 30 minutes to 3 hours typically. And in play, and there we go. My ESP is on point. Double play right up the middle. And again, for me watching this team play as often as I do, I'll have a couple ESP moments every stream, and there it is. We get out of the inning with the double play up the middle, and we're at 4-4 here in the top of the 7th. Momentum has shifted to the Seattle Mariners. Let's go. And that's the difference between bringing in a guy that ends up, being pretty good for you and then a guy that ends up choking like Presley did. And now they're going to bring in Thielbar, and we'll see what happens with Thielbar here. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks, Cole Young. Let's see if we can get the inning started with Cole, drop a bunt down, do something unexpected. Batting second, J.P. Crawford. We need you to be able to get a hit here, my guy. Let's go, J.P. And then batting third, center fielder Julio Rodriguez, who's been pretty cold, for the last month or so. So hopefully Julio can find a way. And this would be a good inning to be able to try to take the lead here in the top of the 7th. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. But one team is 16 games above 500. The other team is 1 game above 500. But again, we're right there with the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. What a comeback. Let's go. I decided to wear the throwback King Griffey Jr. jersey, and I wanted a throwback type of performance, and I'm lucky that we got it. It's not over yet, but again, you got to give the Mariners a lot of credit, to face a team as good as Chicago in their building, in their fucking field at Wrigley, and to be able to compete with them. First pitch from Thielbar to Cole Young, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Come on, Cole. 0-1 pitch, low and away with the sweeper from Thielbar. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cole Young. 0 for 2 with 2 Ks so far for Cole. Come on, baby. We need you. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 7th, 4-4 tie between the Mariners and the Cubbies. Come on, baby. 1-2 pitch in play, and Cole Young flies out to left. That would have been a good at-bat to drop down a bunt, but again, it's like we only bunt once every 10 to 15 games now, and again, that is a problem. Cole Young flies out to left, 1 away. Next up, 0 for 2. Let's make it 1 for 3. Shortstop, J.P. Crawford. First pitch from Thielbar to Crawford. Takes a strike looking outside of the zone with a sweeper. Should have been called ball, but called strike. 0-1 count. Come on, J.P. We need you to get on base, baby. Let's go. I'm good, brother. I've seen you guys have been really making some waves at Tampa Bay Rays, giving up, 6, 7, 8 runs early in the matchup and coming back and winning. You guys are really on a heater lately, and hopefully you guys can continue to do that for your Tampa Bay Rays. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss behind in the count, 0-2 from Thielbar to Crawford. And I try to pay attention to the entire league, not just the Mariners. So I definitely have been keeping up on what's been going on with your Rays. 0-2 pitch, fouled off. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Mariners with a huge comeback. Down 4-2. Mitch Garver with only 1 home run on the season. Hits a 2-run blast 30 rows up to tie the game 4-4. And you never know what role player will be the unexpected hero on any given day. 0-2 pitch. High and inside. Fouled off. 4-seam fastball. 94 miles an hour by Thielbar. No balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Let's go, J.P. 0-2 pitch, low and away with the curveball by Thielbar. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. J.P. Crawford in the box, Thielbar on the mound. Cubs winning by 2 is possible, for sure. I mean, anything can happen. All it takes is one shitty pitcher, from the Mariners or the Cubs to, change the outlook of the game. And that's kind of happened with what Chicago did, bringing in Presley, and we came back. So 1-2 pitch and a big swing and a miss. Down goes J.P. Crawford, striking out swinging, 2 away. But the game is far from over. We still got 3 innings, and it'll be a sprint now here in these last 3 innings to see who wins. First pitch from Thielbar to Julio. Takes a ball in the zone with a curve, 77 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Come on, J-Rod. We need you, baby. Trident's up. Let's go. Yeah, but it's too early to say who's going to win, 1-0 pitch in play, and there we go. Julio with a single to right. And again, momentum has shifted to the Mariners. So, yes, the Cubs could still win by 1 or 2, but the same thing you could go for the Mariners winning by 1 or 2. All it takes is one good inning, and things can open up. And there we go. Finally, Julio getting a base knock. And now we got our guy, the best player on the team, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. 28 home runs, leading MLB. Hit a home run at his first at-bat today. And let's see if Julio and Cal can be like Jordan and Pippen here, and we can find a way to take a 2-run lead. First pitch, high and away, fouled off with the four-seam fastball, 0-1 count. And it's pretty wild to think that Cal Raleigh is number 1 in homers over guys like Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. But, torpedo bats are working, baby. Let's go. Top of the 7th with a runner at first and 2 outs. Knotted up at 4. Mitch Garver with a 2-run blast after they ended up exiting Boyd out of the game, maybe an inning or 2 early. Presley came in and fucked it all up for Chicago. And hopefully we can find a way to get ahead of the Cubbies here in the next few innings. Or possibly at this at-bat with Cal. But, there's not very many guys on the team that can hit 2 home runs in a game. But Cal is definitely the one that has the highest percentage to do that. 0-1 pitch. Low and at the knees. Good eye by Cal Raleigh. 1 ball and 1 strike from Thielbar to Big Dumper. Let's go, Cal. Trident's up. We'll take a single. We'll take a double. But we love the homers, baby. Let's go. Bring that electricity, Cal. The momentum has shifted to Seattle, but again, there's 3 innings to go, so we'll see where everything plays out here. Come on, Cal. But it really does show you once starting pitching goes out, the game resets. Back, back, back. See ya! There we go, baby. Cal Raleigh, I told you. And there it is, the second home run of the game, number 29, the best player in baseball, not named Aaron Judge and not named Shohei Ohtani. He will be the first homer at 30. Let's fucking go. 6-4 Mariners. So your Cubbies winning by 2 may not happen, but the Mariners winning by 2, it may. Let's go. 2 homers in the game. 6-4 Seattle. Woo! Let's go. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. And again, the only way that we were going to win 2 games out of 3 is winning game 1. And again, sometimes you got to put, everything on your shoulders as being the best player, not only on the team, but one of the best players, obviously in 2025, the best catcher in baseball and the best power hitting catcher that we've ever seen, Big Dumper Cal Raleigh. And just to put it in perspective for some of y'all, all right, the number 1 catcher in baseball for homers of all time, out of anyone that's ever played in the last 100 years, is Salvador Perez with 48 homers, okay? Cal Raleigh is at 29, and it's not even the all-star break. So he's pacing for 70, somewhere between that 66 and 70 mark as Randy Arozarena doubles to left, and we continue to rake with 2 outs. But again, Cal is going to get somewhere between 60 and 70 home runs as long as he doesn't have an injury. And again, number one is 48 by Salvador Perez. So even if he hits a wall or even has a minor injury, you would assume he'll get to a minimum of 50. And again, but the chance of him getting to 60 or 70 seems pretty real this year. Pretty sweet. Top of the 7th, 6-4 Mariners. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. And it shows what a difference, a power hitting, switch hitting catcher can make. And he's great at defense as well. Trident's up, baby. Let's go. We got all the momentum now. And next up, 1 for 2, Mitch Garver. And again, Mitch Garver had a big 2-run homer after they took out Boyd and put in Presley. It would be shocking if he does it again, but you never know. Let's go. Trident's up, baby. And it shows you, you can have one team that's 16 games above 500 and a team that's only 1 game above. But nice to be able to see this effort by the Seattle Mariners. Let's go. Hey, there you go. You knew something. You knew something. Reflect in the building. What's good? He does. $10 holla. We've missed you, man. I know you've probably been busy with family or other things, but great to see you in the room. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with the little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Let's go. Cal Raleigh at 29 home runs, 2 home runs today. Solo Jack at his first at-bat, 2-run homer late. And again, it shows you like how valuable a catcher can be when they can be a power hitting catcher, a switch hitting catcher. And again, we haven't really ever seen a player like Cal Raleigh ever before. And again, if he can continue, to be a consistent player, for the next 10 to 15 years, it's possible that Cal Raleigh might be considered the best catcher, of all time when it's all said and done, depending on if he can continuously hit 30, to 60 homers every single year. And again, without the torpedo bat, he was hitting 30 to 35. Now with this torpedo bat, it looks like he can hit, 40 to 70. And again, we haven't really seen a player like Cal Raleigh be a good leader, be a good defensive catcher, on top of being a switch hitter and being a good home run hitter from the left side and the right side. Normally when you have a switch hitter, you're really good on your strong side and you're weak on the opposite side. But with Cal, he's just as good on the right side as the left, and he's proving it every single day. Top of the 7th inning as we have another pitcher exit for the Cubs, and the Mariners with all the momentum, 6-4 Seattle. And again, you got to think, if we didn't have Cal Raleigh, we're only 1 game above 500. Think about how many games below 500 we would be without Cal if like Mitch Garver was our only catcher. We would probably be like 3rd or 4th place in the American League West. Astros would be better. Rangers would be better. Probably the Athletics would be better. And maybe we're sitting right there with the Angels at the bottom or the Athletics. So again, we probably would be 10 to 15 games below 500 or maybe more. We would not be good. And again, Cal has really held it down for us. And we're happy that we have him here in Seattle for long term. 0-1 pitch to Mitch Garver. Inside, sinker, 94 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike to Mitch Garver here in the top of the 7th. But it's just crazy to think that, with Johnny Bench and Buster Posey and Pudge Rodriguez and Mike Piazza, that no catcher has hit 50 home runs. No catcher has hit 49, right? 48 is the record. Cal's at 29, and we're not even at the All-Star break, and he just broke Johnny Bench's record for most homers before the All-Star break, which was tied with 28. Cal just broke it with that 2-run homer at 29, and Johnny Bench and him are close, and it definitely shows the difference a good catcher can make. As Mitch Garver strikes out, but we end up taking the lead. Mitch Garver, 2-run blast. Cal Raleigh with 2 homers today. 6-4 Seattle. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th. And we're at 10 now, 90 to go. And we got Logan Gilbert on the mound tomorrow, our best pitcher, not named Brian Wu. His last start for him, obviously first start since April 25th, a few days ago, he had 10 Ks. So if Logan Gilbert can get 8 to 10 Ks tomorrow, we should have a pretty good chance of winning game number 2. But we'll have to wait and see how the bats look. Sometimes once we score a bunch of runs, the next game we don't get a lot. So, tomorrow could be a 1 to 3 run type of game unless we end up winning like 3-2. But that's not really in the Mariners' MO on how we win. But 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. Check off those boxes here today. obviously with the 6 runs and 8 hits, and hopefully we get a few more before this game ends. Great to see Luke Raleigh back. Rowdy Tellez goes to AAA. And let's get a few Cal photos up here for his dominance. Crazy to just think about how good Cal Raleigh has been, this year. And again, I don't think it'll be something that, because ever since he started in 2022, I already could tell that he could be one of the best catchers in baseball. And even last year, they disrespected him, not even having him as one of the top 10 catchers by a lot of these quote unquote experts that vote or, end up making, posts on social media. Shame on you to think that a guy that is the best power hitting catcher since he's come into the league, hitting 30 to 35 homers in his first couple years and now exploding for that almost halfway through the season. It's pretty incredible. And hopefully Cal will be a Mariner for life. Next up here in the bottom of the 7th, third baseman Matt Shaw. Batting second, catcher Reese McGuire, who ended up having a dinger earlier in the matchup. And same thing with Ian Happ, who had a solo dinger earlier on George Kirby as well. Sammy Sosa, obviously they're in Chicago for the first time in 21 years to be able to visit the facilities. And the skin bleaching has stopped. He actually looks like he looked when he played. He doesn't look, like a cowboy and with that bleached skin. So hopefully Sammy is going back to his roots, even though that, the home run era had a lot of people cheating with PEDs and steroids. But obviously the Cubs fans love him, and it definitely gives you a little bit of energy in the crowd that you maybe wouldn't get if he wasn't there. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. Carlos Vargas enters the game for the Mariners. And again, Bizzardo did good, and now we got Vargas, and hopefully Vargas doesn't fuck up the game like Presley did, and we can continue to have a 2-run lead. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss to Shaw. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Vargas to Shaw. Let's go, baby. But again, all of us are going to be able to, have an idea on, projecting on who's going to be good and who's going to, maybe fizzle out and whatnot. But yeah, dropping the agent was great. Taking a team-friendly deal so Logan Gilbert can get signed, and then having this amazing season. And, again, Logan is the best player on the team. You got Cal Raleigh as 1, Logan Gilbert is 2. We gave the money to Julio. He hasn't literally lived up to it yet. But again, it's a nice cornerstone when you can have Cal, Julio, and Logan Gilbert. And hopefully we can continue to be successful. Pitch fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Vargas to Shaw. But again, you're going to end up seeing records be broken. And again, a couple years back in Julio and Cal's first year starting in 2022, that's when Judge had the 62 homers. So again, to be able to have a catcher, beat out Shohei Ohtani or an Aaron Judge is pretty wild as Shaw lines out to right, 1 away. But, maybe this is the era, of Cal Raleigh. And again, very excited that we have a player as good as that. And he makes every single pitcher on the staff that much better. I mean, just imagining if Mitch Garver was our regular catcher and we didn't have Cal, we would be a terrible team, even with the rest of the roster that we have. First pitch from Vargas to Reese McGuire, low and in the zone, should have been called strike. In the zone, but called ball. 1-0 count. Let's go, Vargas. One-0 pitch, high and away with the sinker. 2 balls and no strikes from Vargas to Reese McGuire. Really the only way that we lose this game is that if we end up having, Vargas or Trent Thornton or Colin Snyder come in and fuck it up. But, again, we went with Bizzardo after Kirby, now Vargas. And I don't know if we're going to see brash, Spire, but I would hope that we see Brash next inning and then Munoz and then game over. And then we'll see what we have tomorrow with Logan Gilbert on the bump. And I like our chances tomorrow. But, one team is 16 games above 500, one of the best in MLB, 45-29, 24-13 at home, Chicago Cubs. And then the Mariners, obviously, we're not in the same level as them. We're 37-36, 17-17 on the road. We definitely have hit a wall since winning 9 consecutive series in a row. But again, we're confident, and we know that we can compete with anyone. And that's a 5-pitch walk to Reese McGuire. Captain with a 5er. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Appreciate you, my guy. And we're at 15, 85 to go. Next up is 1 for 3 with a run in the RBI. Had a solo jack in the first. Ian Happ. First pitch from Vargas to Happ. Takes a strike looking. 0-1 count. Cutter, 96 miles an hour by Vargas. And this has really been the story of the role players stepping up, other than Cal Raleigh. You're getting good production out of Ian Happ. You're getting great production out of Michael Busch, going 3 for 3 today. It's not, the Pete Crow Armstrong game, even though we know Pete Crow Armstrong is a stud. And then guys like Donovan Solano and Mitch Garver stepping up. And then Cal Raleigh obviously setting the tone early and late. And single-handedly, Cal has won us quite a few games. Just a few games ago, he ended up having 6 RBIs, tying, his, record. But again, 2 homers today. And, if he didn't hit that second one, we don't probably win this game. So still far from over, but I like our chances now. 1-1 pitch. Low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Vargas to Happ. 2-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Vargas to Happ. I really think the only way Chicago comes back is if we have shitty guys in the pen next inning, or they end up coming back against Vargas in this inning. But, hopefully we can get out of this inning unscathed. But it feels like the Mariners are going to win based off momentum. But again, there's still far from being over, especially if we bring in Brash next inning and he goes lights out and then we go Munoz. Again, if we go with those 2 pitchers, it's going to be hard for the Cubs to come back. Not impossible, but hard. But again, if we bring in anybody else, then yeah, it's definitely open for the comeback, but we'll see. And down goes Happ. There we go, baby. That's exactly what we needed. Vargas is doing well now, which is nice to see. And next up, 2 for 2 with a run and a base on ball, former Houston Astro right fielder Kyle Tucker. And again, the Cubs better be smart about Tucker and paying him the big money. Because if you don't, the Dodgers or Yankees are going to swoop him up when his contract is up. And Tucker is a very valuable player. He was my favorite player when we would, have the rivalry between the Mariners and the Astros. I love him, and I love Jeremy Pena. Obviously, Altuve, Bregman, and Yordan Alvarez, were holding it down for the Stros at that time. But now Bregman on the Red Sox, Tucker on the Cubs. Astros are still good, better than the Mariners, even with those 2 guys gone. But things are different with Houston without Bregman and Tucker. And down goes Vargas as they get him to exit the matchup. And they don't want him to go against Tucker, and hopefully that'll be a good decision. And let's see who we bring in next. And we're going to bring in Gabe Spire. So we're going to go lefty on lefty to see if we can get the out here. And hopefully Gabe will be the good version of Gabe. But Bizzardo did well. Vargas did well. And it shows you we haven't really seen enough out of Snyder and Trent Thornton, 2 guys that are liabilities in our bullpen. But even those guys have been doing a little bit better than when we were in our slump. So they're kind of feeding off the emotion off the other guys. And that's a good sign to see moving forward, since we're only a game above 500 at this time. But we need the good Gabe right here, not the bad. And again, Gabe is usually considered our second best guy in the pen behind Matt Brash. But there has been games where Gabe has had a wild pitch that has scored a run. He has given up key RBIs for us to lose, or given up a home run when he's come in to close out the game. So, the last thing that we need is Gabe to throw it right down the middle and Tucker to go yard, and it's tied up 6-6. If that happens, then obviously Happ wasn't able to do it. But if Tucker gets that pitch right down the middle, in the bottom of the seventh with 2 outs and Gabe throws it right down the middle, this game will be tied 6-6, and then we'll probably lose based off momentum. So we have to find a way to, hopefully get Tucker out, and then we can bring in Brash and Munoz in the 8th and 9th, and we can shut the door down. Yeah, but the people that are asking if the Cubs can come back, you guys only want to do it because of money reasons, not because you guys are fans. So for that simple fact, they're not coming back. Now, if you were real fans of the Cubs, right, then maybe they would come back. But if you're only doing it just to try to win money, not going to happen. Bottom of the 7th, runner at first with 2 outs. First pitch from Spire to Tucker. 1-0 pitch. Four-seam fastball. 94 miles an hour by Spire. 1-0 pitch, fouled off high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Spire to Tucker. One pitch, fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Spire to Tucker. Of course they won't. Yeah, it's always those people that think, oh, yeah, if the Cubs win. But, again, if you really want to do your boy a solid, if you win, whether it be $1 to $500, show love. But, again, people are greedy and they never do. And that's another reason why that the Mariners will win. 1-2 pitch, fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. Spire on the mound, Tucker in the box. Oh, there's plenty of fake fans that will come through in the streams only because they want to win money. They're not fans of the teams that they're actually betting on. They're just looking for a payday, But again, if you're not actually following all the details of a game, just throwing money on a bet doesn't mean that you're going to win every time. There's a lot that goes involved with it. Who's pitching? Who's playing in the lineup? Is it night or day? Home or away? There's a lot of factors. I mean, hell, if anyone were to bet on baseball or on sports, it would be me, since I do it fucking every day. But even I don't bet. So. Pitch is low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. Spire on the mound, Tucker in the box. And there we go. Mariners get out of the inning as Tucker grounds out to the shortstop, and that is the end of the 7th inning. That's what you get, you bettors. And the reason people that don't donate when they bet is because they always lose. And for any time that they win, they don't tell you about the 15 times that they lost and how much money that they're down. Facts. Oh, look at me, I won $100. Then what about the 900 that you're already down? They don't talk about that. End of the 7th inning, 6-4 Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, 1 for 2 with an RBI, base on ball, and a K, Donovan Solano. And he actually has been pretty good as of late. Batting second, 1 for 1. Big stud back in the lineup, Luke Raleigh. And batting third, 0 for 3 with a K, Big Ben Williamson. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Yeah, I mean, really the only way people they do super chat, through a debit card. They do, Venmo or Cash App. Those are really the main ways that people donate. So, I mean, I got a Venmo and I got a Cash App, and people will donate through this super chat. But those are really the 3 main ways that people, show the love and support. 9 more likes to get to 50. Let's go, baby. Yeah. I don't know if I would recommend anyone sending me donations to the crib, especially with the mail service, lately, whether it be USPS, FedEx, or, UPS. Sending cash in the mail probably ain't the best thing to do. End of the 7th inning, 6-4 Seattle. But who do you think the sports gods are going to side with? Someone that's actually been a fan that watches every game beginning to end for the last 40 years, or someone that's just trying to win a couple dollars? You be the decision maker on that. First pitch to Donovan Solano, fouls it off from Brazier. 0-1 count. Let's go, Solano. Top of the 8th, Mariners with a 2-run lead. And we don't lose typically with Cal hits 2 homers. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Brazier to Solano. And I'm really proud of Donovan. You know, again, a lot of people were wondering why that he didn't get sent down, you know, instead of Rowdy or some of the others like Trent Thornton. But again, starting off the year, batting 100, 4 for 40, you know, Donovan Solano has been more reliable coming up prior to today than Mitch Garver or, you know, guys like Dylan Moore. And again, it's not like he's going to get you a bunch, you know, but instead of going 0 for 4, 0 for 5, going 1 for 4 here and there is kind of nice. And Solano in play. Look at him. Donovan Solano, go, go, go. And Donovan with a double. And again, he's really showing his worth as of late, right? We obviously ended up sending Rowdy Tellez to AAA for Luke Raley, right? So again, he's a streaky player, got a few home runs, but it's a lot of strikeouts and a lot of ground outs. Then we bring up Luke Raley. But again, Donovan Solano showing his worth and getting a fucking double, being a big boy. Nice fucking job, Donovan. Maybe they'll have more photos of you that I can use moving forward. And now having Luke Raley up instead of Dylan Moore is a good decision. First pitch, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Top of the 8th, 6-4 Mariner lead with a runner at second. And it's kind of crazy to think when you can get role players like Solano and Garver, you know, are going to be a big reason why we win with Cal. It's not about the superstar. It's also about the role players. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging in the zone, behind in the count, 0-2. 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss for Luke Raley, but he ended up getting a big hit at his first at bat. So we'll take that. 1 away. Next up, 0 for 3 with a K, third baseman Ben Williamson. Let's go, Big Ben. We need you. Let's go. First pitch right down the middle to Big Ben Williamson. 0-1 count. Brazier on the mound, Williamson in the box. Yeah, Luke got called up and Rowdy Tellez got sent down. And obviously we have a lefty pitcher that started the game, Boyd. So then we went with a heavy righty lineup. But again, you knew at some point that you would be able to see, you know, Luke Raley or Dominic Canzone, you know, pinch hit. And, you know, glad that they decided to keep going with Garv and he finally came up big. As Williamson lines out to right, 2 away. Nice pitch by Brazier there, jamming Williamson. And next up, with 2 outs, and we have been able to have Raleigh start with 2 outs. Can we do another? Next up is Cole Young. It's Cole World, baby. Let's go. Top of the 8th with a runner at second and 2 outs. I mean, hell, if Donovan Solano is getting singles and doubles, we don't want that to be for just nothing. Let's see if Cole can end up getting on with a walk or a single to continue this inning. Because if Cole can get on with a walk or a single, JP might be able to knock Donovan home to get it to 7-4. But that's a big if we can get to that point. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging low and in the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike from Brazier to Young. Top of the 8th, 6-4 Mariner lead against Chicago. Yeah, Polo wasn't playing because it was a lefty pitcher that started. And obviously he's not as good as Cal as a switch hitter from the right-hand side. And again, now they've switched to a couple righties in the lineup. So we'll see if we see Polo at all, you know, but I doubt that we'll see him today. They'll probably use him tomorrow. And we got Logan Gilbert on the mound tomorrow. So I like our chances tomorrow as well. 1-1 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Brazier to Young. But, you know, starting off and looking at the lineup, you know, with JP, Julio, Cal, Randy, and then Garv, Solano, Demo, I was thinking to myself, holy hell, that's not good. You know, 3 guys that might not get anything, but luckily 2 out of the 3 did. And then Luke Raley got a big base hit at his first at-bat when he pinch hit for Dylan Moore, who shouldn't probably even be playing for us, if we're really being honest. You know, I'd rather have Leo Rivas or, hell, I'd rather have Rowdy Tellez than have Dylan Moore. You know, he has 8 homers early in the year, but hasn't done anything in like months, so. 2-1 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike from Brazier to Young. Come on, Cole. And again, we haven't bunted all game, but a little too late for that with 2 outs now. But if we can find a way for Cole to get on, then JP will be up next. And down goes Cole Young. Good inning there by the Cubs. And now we go to the bottom of the 8th with a Mariner 2-run lead. And hopefully we go with Brash, and then we go with Munoz, and then it'll be game over. And Brash and Munoz are 2 of the best in MLB. Let's see if they end up doing that. I mean, Spire only had a few pitches as well, but it really will depend on if the batter is left-handed or right-handed. Next up for the Cubs, 1 for 3 with a K, DHing Seiya Suzuki. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a K, center fielder Pete Crow Armstrong, who's a stud. And batting third, 0 for 3 with a K, shortstop Dansby Swanson. So maybe they'll go with Spire for the first batter because it's a lefty on a righty. You know, maybe going that route. I don't know if they'll just throw Brash in, but we'll see what happens. And obviously, you got Pete Crow Armstrong up second, so you could go Spire on him. But again, if they were smart, they would go Brash no matter what. We've already seen Spire do the right thing. This is the perfect opportunity for Brash and Munoz. And let me take a look here. And yes, they make the right decision. Spire is done, and they bring in Brash. Thank you for making the smart choice, Dan Wilson and company. Here we go. And again, Matt Brash is one of the best relievers in baseball, not just on the Mariners. And obviously, Andres Munoz is one of the best closers in baseball, not just on the Mariners. So I like our chances of winning this game now. Good decision here. All right, Brash, let's go. Well, plus, there's no one that's dedicated as much as me, dude. I work 7 days a week. I work on my birthday. I work on Christmas. I work on Thanksgiving. And not only that, you know, it's like I'm not just doing Mariners. I'm doing Oregon Ducks. You know, I'm doing college football. I'm doing NFL, Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. I do Kraken, NHL. You know, I do NASCAR for the Cup Series. You know, I end up doing a little bit of NBA once in a while. I do WWE. I mean, there literally isn't anything that I don't do. So, you know, I feel that, you know, if you are passionate about what you do, and, you know, I do a lot of reading and film study on top of that as well. It takes a lot of skill to be able to do baseball. You know, a lot of people do football and it's oversaturated, but, you know, baseball is much harder. Next up is Seiya Suzuki. First pitch from Brash to Suzuki. Jams him at the knees. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. High and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Brash to Suzuki. Come on, Matt. Settle in. 2-0 pitch. Low and away. He's throwing it all over the zone, but not in the strike zone. 3-0 count from Brash to Suzuki here. Come on now. And that's a 4-pitch walk. Yeah, it's very possible, for sure. Absolutely. You know, it just depends on if the fans outside of Seattle recognize that the person that has hit the most homers as a catcher is only 48, and that was Salvador Perez on the Royals. So if Cal ends up getting 60 or 70, you know, and you look at the win totals of where we're at, barely above 500, you know, the fans should understand that Cal is the most deserving, even though Shohei and Aaron Judge can win it every year. But who's more popular? Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. So, you know, the popularity contest might overweigh the actual stats of the guy that's the most deserving of the MVP this year. And I don't think this will be the only year Cal will be in the running with Ohtani and Judge. I think there will be, you know, a few times that he'll be right up there with them, not just this year. All right, next up is Pete Crow Armstrong. First pitch, high and away with the knuckle curve, 1-0 count. And Brash is a little shaky here with his first couple batters. We need a slow dribbler right up the middle for a double play to help us out of this inning. But definitely possible that Cal doesn't win MVP. They could always, and Judge is having a monster season as well. But I mean, if you're looking at, you know, what the guy has done based off position alone, you know, it's definitely going to be, you know, interesting to see where the voters, you know, go to. If they actually give Cal the credit that he deserves, you know, especially if he wins the home run title this year, or if they just give it to the popular Ohtani or Judge. 1-0 pitch. High and away, and Brash, this is the first time that we haven't seen Brash hit the strike zone in the first like 6 or 7 pitches. 2-0 pitch, and that one is fouled off. 2 balls and 1 strike to Pete Crow Armstrong. And again, we need a slow dribbler right up the middle to JP, a throw to Solano, and that'll give us 2. Come on now. Bottom of the 8th, runner at first with no outs. Brash looking a little shaky, maybe for the very first time as a relief pitcher all year. He's the only guy that hasn't fucked up as far as a relief pitcher for the Mariners. You know, Munoz has fucked up a couple times, Spire a couple times, but Brash, you know, hasn't really given up, you know, a bad outing so far up to this point of the season. In play and fouled out to the catcher, Cal Raleigh. And what are the chances of a superstar in the making in Pete Crow Armstrong, you know, fouling out to either third base or the catcher on every at-bat? But we'll take it. 1 away. Next up is shortstop Dansby Swanson. Same thing applies now. Double play right up the middle, and we get out of the inning. First pitch, high and away. Slider, 1-0 count. But again, if we can get out of this inning without Brash hitting the strike zone, this would be huge, because I haven't seen him this shaky all year. But so far, the damage hasn't been done. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone. Finally, a strike in the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and 1 out. Double play right up the middle. The JP, throw to Solano, out of the inning. And then we can have Munoz come in and shut the door down, hopefully. Let's go. Bottom of the 8th, 6-4 Mariners, runner at first. In play. And grounded out to third. Suzuki to second. 2 away. There we go. Good defense by the Mariners. And now we got to be real careful here. 3 for 3. First baseman Michael Busch having the best game out of any Chicago Cub here today. I'm not sure if I would intentionally walk him, you know, but again, you have to be very careful here if you're Matt Brash. First pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone, and he finally gets ahead of the count. 0-1 for the first time, and I like what I see now. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, now behind in the count 0-2 to Michael Busch, and we need Michael to go 3 for 4, not 4 for 4. And hopefully we get 1 more strike for a punch out. We get out of this inning. Let's go. Bottom of the 8th, 6-4 Mariners. Brash on the mound. Busch in the box. 3 for 3 day so far. And behind in the count 0-2 with a runner at second and 2 outs. Come on, M's. We got Logan Gilbert on the mound tomorrow. We win this game, we should have a good chance of winning 2 out of 3. If we win tomorrow, we'll have a chance for a sweep. But you know, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. Game isn't over yet. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Smash that like button if you haven't done it already. In play, grounds out to first, and Brash does his job. There we go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Cubs end up getting nothing, and let's go to the top of the 9th and see if we can add on 1 more for insurance. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 4, which is very rare. With a K, J.P. Crawford. Drop the bunt down. Batting second, 1 for 4 with a run, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, the best catcher in baseball, 29 homers, 2 today, 2 for 3, 3 runs, 3 RBIs, base on ball. Recognize who he is, should win the MVP, but they may give it to Aaron Judge. Shohei Ohtani is great in the National League, but let's not forget about Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, baby. Top of the 9th. 6-4 Mariner lead. Let's go. I put Cal on the thumb for a reason, baby. Let's go. And we've gained almost 10 subs on the stream. Let's go. Those Cubs bettors are pretty quiet right now. I'm not hearing any chirping anymore. What happened? JP, Julio on deck, Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. The chances of Cal hitting 3 home runs in a game is not very likely, but if anyone could do it, you know. First pitch to J.P. Crawford, takes a strike looking in the zone, 0-1 count. Let's go, J.P. We can't have you going 0 for 5. Let's go. Cabrera is in the game now. Nice job by Matt Brash. Even though that was probably the shakiest I've seen him all season, but even him being shaky didn't give up a run. So shows you how good Matt Brash truly is in 2025. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss right down the middle by JP, behind in the count. 0-2. Come on, JP. Let's go. Find a way to get on base. (0-2) pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Cabrera to J.P. Crawford. Top of the 9th, 6-4 Mariner lead. Cabrera on the mound, J.P. Crawford in the box. And again, being up by 2 is great, but if we can end up getting 1 more run for insurance, that would be great. 1-2 pitch in play and flied out to left in a very rare 0 for 5 day for J.P. Crawford. He'll be better tomorrow. Next up, 1 for 4 with a run scored, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, Julio. I mean, we're already up 2. Is this the time where we get that unexpected homer out of Julio to make it 7-4? I don't know what the chances of that happening are. Not very good, but you never know. First pitch to Julio. Big swing and a miss with that splitter by Cabrera right down the middle, 84 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, there's my pup. My pup is in here for a victory win, hopefully. Lay down, honey. Top of the 9th, 6-4 Mariner lead. Cabrera on the mound, Julio in the box. 0-2 pitch, high and away, 4-seam fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, I saw that he had a nice little streak going. But I like the direction of where the future of MLB is going. Pitches low and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Cabrera on the mound, Julio in the box. But Pete Crow Armstrong is must-see TV. Jacob Wilson for the Athletics, the rookie, will win Rookie of the Year. More than likely is really fun to watch. And then obviously James Wood on the Nats. So it's nice to be able to see these young and up-and-coming players, show out for their teams and to kind of give you the next wave of superstars in the making. 2-2 pitch. High and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Cabrera to Julio. (3-2 pitch. Fouled off with the 4-seam fastball. Count still 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on and 1 out. 6-4 Mariner lead. Let's go, Julio. Try to heads up. Let's go, baby. What an epic comeback by the Mariners. 3-2 pitch, and Julio strikes out swinging, which is starting to become a normal trend for Julio. He was doing it a lot in March and April. He didn't do it in May, and he was absolutely electric in May. But in June, he hasn't been good, and down goes Julio Rodriguez, 2 away. All right, best player on the team, not named Logan Gilbert. I don't know how many home runs Cal's going to hit, somewhere between 60 and 70. Can he hit a 3rd home run in the game to give us a 7-4 lead? I don't know. First pitch, right down the middle to Cal, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. mean, even a single would be great for Big Dumper, but hey, we're here for the homers as well. 29 homers, hit 2 today. Let's go Big Dumper. 0-1 pitch, high and inside, 1 ball and 1 strike from Cabrera to Raleigh. Bring that electricity, Cal. You've already done enough today. You know, if you get your 30th home run here, I mean, again, you know, Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani are always going to be more popular, but it's just nice to be able to bring another name to the party that is deserving. Yeah, Oregon did pass the bill. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to get an expansion team or a team to come here, but you know, they got a WNBA team that's coming next year as well, the Portland Fire, that existed you know, in the early 2000s for a couple years, like 2 or 3 years. So when Sabrina or Caitlin Clark you know, come to town, I'll probably, you know, go take a little visit and whatnot. Caitlin Clark tickets will be expensive against the Fever, but against the Liberty with Sabrina Onoscu from the Ducks, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing her. But it would be cool to bring baseball to Oregon. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Cabrera to Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Top of the 9th, 6-4 Mariner lead. Cal with 2 homers today to give us a 6-4 lead. And I don't know if I've ever seen a switch hitter that is good on both sides, homer-wise. You know, Cal might be the first that we've seen in a long, long time. I mean, there's always been switch hitters out there, you know, but maybe like Mickey Mantle, you know, for being like a lefty and a righty, you know, but again, it's usually there's one side that there's a little bit of quite a bit of a drop-off, and Cal continues to stay hot as he singles the left. Way to be, Cal. MVP. 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 Nice job, Cal. With only 1 game above 500 with no Cal Raleigh, we're like 15 games below. If that's not MVP, I don't know what is. You know that the Dodgers and Yankees would still be good without Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge. Now, obviously, Aaron Judge, you know, would be a big impact as well, like Cal. But Shohei, you know, obviously the Dodgers were already good with Mookie and Freddie. So next up is Randy Arozarena. But the Yankees still have enough good players where they could still win games. But for the Mariners, you know, if there was ever an MVP, you know, that's valuable to the team to win, it's definitely this guy. First pitch to Randy Arozarena. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. And Randy singles to left. And now we got runners at first and second with 2 outs. And again, we are raking. Next up, one of the unexpected heroes. First homer in ages. He only had 1 coming into the season. Now he has 2. Can he hit another one? Runners at first and second. Cal and Randy with 2 outs. 6-4 Mariners. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know if this is the time to be talking shit when you're down by 2 runs and we have runners at first and second. I think you missed your window. Plus, the sports gods are always going to side with a fan rather than someone that just wants to win a couple bucks. First pitch, high and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes from Cabrera to Garver. You know, sports god's going to go with a guy that's been a fan of 40 years, watching every game from beginning to end, or someone that just wants to win their parlay. I think the sports gods know the right choice. I've been longer a fan of the Mariners since you've been alive, my boy. Top of the 9th, runners at first and second, 6-4 Mariners. We got Logan Gilbert on the mound tomorrow. We got a good chance to win the series. It's not impossible. No one gave us a chance today, and we're winning right now. 2-0 pitch. Fouls that one off right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 2 outs. 6-4 Mariner lead. Or 2-1 pitch, fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. 6-4 Mariner lead. Just the fact that you said that. Yeah, and again, Seattle fans are good fans. Again, we already know how hard it is to be able to battle. But again, just because you're crying your own tears because you're going to lose your parlay, back, see ya! There you go. Mitch Garver, 3-run homer, 9-4 Mariners. Where are the Cubs fans chirping now? And it's not even Cubs fans. What is it? You want to win your parlay? Where is it? Where's the parlay? You ain't winning today, baby. 9-4 Mariners. Mitch Garver with 2 home runs in the game, a 3-run blast. Again, you know, if you want to chirp, keep chirping. And again, we find ways to get it done. And again, a lot of those parlay bettors are pretty fucking quiet right now, huh? All I hear is crickets. Let's go, baby. Sports gods know, man. You know, they don't give a shit about your fucking parlay. You know, they're going to go with the people that really, truly care. And we're in the top of the 9th with a 9-4 lead. I was okay with just one more run for insurance, but Garver said, fuck it. You want Geico? I want State Farm. Fuck y'all. 9-4 Mariners. Let's go. Trident's up. That's what I'm talking about. What a great game by the Mariners here today. And again, the bats have opened up. I mean, we haven't seen multi-homer games in a minute, let alone by one guy, but a guy that only had 1 home run going into the season and now has 3? Unbelievable. It shows you if you got shitty bullpen, that can make all the difference. Next up is Donovan Solano. First pitch to Donovan Solano, fouled off, 0-1 count. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 before the stream ends. And we're at 15, 85 to go on the Dono train. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, behind in the count 0-2 to Donovan Solano. Let's go. And Donovan has actually been pretty good, not only today, but in the last few weeks. 2 for 3 with an RBI, base on ball, and a K. One of the best games that he's had all year. Not only with him, but Mitch Garver as well. What are the chances that both guys end up having awesome games like this? And Solano with another single. What is going on here today? Garver having a career day. Solano having a career day. Unbelievable. Next up, Luke Raleigh. Let's go. 1 for 2 with a K. But it shows you, you know, if role players can step up other than just, you know, your superstar in Cal Raleigh, good things can happen. Let's go, baby. First pitch to Luke Raleigh, takes a strike swinging right down the middle, 0-1 count. Yeah, the best game of his life here for the Seattle Mariners with 3 hits and a walk. Unbelievable. And then Mitch Garver with 2 home runs. Unbelievable. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, behind in the count 0-2. But that's what happens when you come in here and all you want to do is win your bet and you're not even a fan of the Cubs. You know? Sports gods will, will show you the way. Top of the 9th, 9-4 Mariner lead. Cabrera on the mound. Luke Raleigh in the box. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Luke Raleigh. Let's go, Luke. Great to see him back. Unfortunately, that means that Rowdy Tellez ended up going to AAA, but Rowdy was a pretty streaky player himself, and based on how Garver and Solano have played today and lately, you know, maybe that was the right choice. You know, I think that we would probably want someone better than Solano. We still have Tyler Locklear that's in AAA as well that we could call up if we needed to, or bring Rowdy back up for a different player. And down goes Luke Raleigh, but the damage was done. 3-run blast by fucking Mitch Garver. Unbelievable. He only had 1 home run all season and got 2 today. Unfucking believable. Let's go to the bottom of the ninth. And all the Cubs need is 5 runs, easy peasy lemon squeezy to tie, 6 to win. And of course, all those people that bet and only wanted to win money, we'll see what happens here in the bottom of the ninth. Next up, 0 for 3, second baseman Nico Werner. Batting second, 0 for 3, third baseman Matt Shaw. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a run, RBI, and a base on ball, solo dinger, Reese McGuire. Trident's up. Let's go Mariners. And you got to think, Kirby gave up 3 runs in the first inning, and we still came back and won. Let's go. Legomina is coming in instead of Andres Munoz. I don't know why. Like, wouldn't this be the situation that you would want Munoz to come in and then shut the door down for him to pad his stats? I mean, we're up 5. I mean, if we're not going to put in Andres Munoz when we're up 5, I mean, when the hell are we going to put him in? Yeah, but I want Munoz to have reps too, you know, because again, you know, you don't know how the game is going to go in game 2 and game 3 tomorrow, you know, with Logan Gilbert and, you know, Emerson Hancock, where we might be down and there's no chance of him even getting in. So, I mean, it's one thing for like a save, you know, opportunity and whatnot, but also just to be able to get the reps. I don't want to see, you know, Andres Munoz only get out there once every 2 weeks, you know, because you don't know what's going to happen. 0-1 pitch in play, and Horner singles to left. Brutal. And Nico getting a hit on one of our shaky guys on the mound. Next up is Matt Shaw. And now we got to pray for a slow dribbler up the middle or a strikeout, and then getting a slow dribbler either by Shaw or McGuire, and we can end this game. First pitch from Legomina to Shaw, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch, fouled off, high and inside, behind in the count, 0-2. Legomina on the mound, Shaw in the box. You got it all day. But now if that was Munoz, it probably wouldn't have happened. But since Legomina came in, you got your hit there. Bottom of the ninth, 9-4 Mariner lead. Runner at first. Legomina on the mound, Shaw in the box. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, behind in the count, 0-2. 0-2 pitch. See ya! Down goes Matt Shaw with the punch out, 1 away. And now this is where we end the game with a slow dribbler right up the middle to J.P. Crawford. Throw to first. Game over. 9-4 Mariners. Let's see if we can get it done. Let's go. Sometimes when you want that double play right after you've given up a single or a walk, you know, sometimes a punch out happens and then you get the double play. Sometimes you get the double play immediately, but sometimes you got to wait for that guy to strike out and then the next guy gets it. So we'll see if we get it here. And slow dribbler. There it is. Double play. Got him. And my ESP is on point. I called both double plays here today, and that is the final score. Seattle Mariners 9, Chicago Cubs 4. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. And when the Mariners win, what do? We fucking dance. Mariners win. Mariners win. Mariners win. Fuck yeah. What a big win. What a game. Let's do a quick recap of the game. In the top of the first, Cal Raleigh homered to center, ended up making it 1-0 Mariners. So you already knew that we were going to compete early on, okay? And in the bottom of the first, with George Kirby on the mound still being a little bit shaky, Ian Happ, solo, dinger, 425 feet, 1-1 Mariners and Cubs. Then later in that inning, you ended up having Michael Bush singling to left. Tucker and Suzuki scored. Then they go up 3-1. Then in the top of the fourth, Donovan Solano having one of his best games in a Seattle Mariner uniform. Singles to right. Raleigh and Garver obviously move positions. Raleigh scores, Garver to third. 3-2 Cubs. So now we're feeling pretty good about how things are going. But as soon as we start feeling pretty good about how things are going, what happens? Reese McGuire in the 9-hole in the bottom of the fifth, homered, 399 feet, and then they go up 4-2. So we need a big, big comeback. And then do we get it? And we get it big. Mitch Garver, only one home run on the season, and there in the top of the sixth, Garver homers to center with Randy on board to make it 4-4. We're feeling pretty good. Cal Raleigh comes up next in the seventh, homers with Julio on board, and it ends up being 6-4, and then we're not done. Back to Mitch Garver again. Garver homers to center in the top of the ninth, 3-run jack with Raleigh and Randy on board, and then we finally get the dub, 9-4 Seattle. A lot of those people that were betting on the Cubs, I'm not really hearing a whole lot. Crickets. I hear the chirping. Let's go, baby. Good pitching. I mean, even though Kirby gave up 3, early in the first inning, we still found a way and felt good, right? And again, it's not like we're going to be able to beat a team like this on the road that often, but everyone contributed, besides really JP Crawford and a couple others. But again, 9 runs, 13 hits. We can't complain about that. And we got Logan Gilbert on the mound tomorrow. So I can't wait. And I already got thumbnails made in advance. So we're going to shout out Logan Gilbert. We got Kyle Tucker for tomorrow. And then obviously on the last one, we'll have Cal and obviously Pete Crow Armstrong. So can't wait to be able to see how the series plays out. And again, every game on Saturday and Sunday included will be on at the same time, 11:20 a.m. Pacific. So it's a little early for us here in Oregon, Washington, and the West Coast. But hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. I will, as well as all the Mariner fans in the building and all the Mariner fans watching. Cubs, you're a good team. Again, we found a way to get it done. And again, I'm looking forward to the challenge in games 2 and game 3 here on Saturday and Sunday. And again, we will be on at 11:20 a.m. Pacific tomorrow and 11:20 a.m. Pacific on Sunday. Captain, appreciate you and all day getting us the big numbers. I appreciate that. And I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Haters will always hate, but we know what to do with them. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Go Mariners. Tridents up. Mariners win.